Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, all sorts of good things. And sitting across from me after his 17th straight negative COVID test, it's Ray Hora, joining you guys in the live chat today. Ray?
Hello.
Ray's here. Also sitting beside Ray, she's been joining us all week, well, except for Monday, of course. We've got Joey Bishop and her person, Aaron Cummings. How you guys doing?
Oh, we are wonderful. And I know that we're going to talk about Peacemaker episode 4, which I sadly did not get to watch because my King of the Nerds husband wanted to watch the first episode of Boba Fett. And I said, you watching these shows is the reason I hate Star Wars, because it's so damn annoying watching it with you. Sand people. Oh, we'll see. Pausing it. Oh, we'll see the reason why this kid is on the
Tom does that.
Literally, first
He's
scene,
the explainer as it's going, guy.
I don't even ask the question. I'm just like, okay. And I told him, I said, John and company didn't really like Boba Fett. And he goes, why? I don't know about that. I'm going to watch it anyway.
Well,
I'm like, okay.
The jury's still out.
Which
the
is fine.
jury's still out on Boba Fett.
But so then so he starts playing it, and then the kid kneels down. That's literally like timestamp 0.02. The kid kneels down. He's like, well, see, what happened was because the Jabberwockies and they killed the sand people, and then the blobbity blah blahs, and then the Django's did this to the doobie doos. And I'm like, oh my God, just shut up.
So I love how there's enough there that shows that you are you're learning about Star Wars.
A half-hour episode turned into an hour and a half.
I didn't even let it get that far. I just go, you know what? I'm going to bed. I was just like, the only reason why I was even able to watch Mandalorian was because I said, I will not watch you if you say a fucking word. I mean, I will not watch this. And so he kept his mouth shut, and I love Mandalorian, but he's now ruined Boba Fett for me before it even started because he just had to nerd out on me. So thanks, Tom.
All that because right before we started the show, I hummed a few bars of the opening of Peacemaker. And then that
and I'm bitter that I didn't watch my episode.
Sitting over there, he is one Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today?
Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here.
And it's good to have you guys here joining us here today, as it is every day that you do. We are so cognizant of the fact that you guys have a lot of things you could do today. Take a deep breath. A lot of things you could be doing today, but you chose to come and fly with us on John Campea Air, and we are so glad that you did. And here's how today's show is going to go. We break the show up into two parts. The first half of the show, we're going to take some predetermined topics. In the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. If you're watching live, and only if you're watching live, you can use the super chat feature over there in YouTube chat, and we'll read off those comments at the end of the main topics. But if you're watching the show any other time during the day, you can go down to the description. You'll see a tip link there. Click on that or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your comment or question read on a show or an upcoming companion video if we deem your comment or question appropriate to be used on our show. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time. And all of us involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Also, one other thing, want to remind you guys, a little bit of housekeeping here. If you need your daily fix of the John Campea Show, but you can't be in front of a YouTube video, good news. There is the audio-only version podcast form of the show, simply called the John Campea Show Podcast. At some point, it's going to come up here on the video. There it is, the John Campea Show Podcast. Listen to it while you're commuting, jogging, at work, whatever. It's there for you. Go on your favorite podcasting app of choice. Subscribe to it today, so it'll be there when you need it. Okay, guys. With that down, let's get into a couple of off-the-tops here, shall we? And the first one is this. You know, one of the animated movies kind of in that Wallace and Gromit kind of vein that I really liked many years ago. I mean, when you think about it, it feels like it came out 10 years ago, but I can't remember how long ago it came out. I don't know if it was 20 or 20 plus years ago, whatever. Chicken Run. I remember Chicken Run. Chicken Run was a fun little movie, actually, and they've actually been talking, for I kid you not, I think it's been at least since the early AMC days that I was at AMC, that we covered stories about, hey, there's some talks going on that they're going to do a Chicken Run 2. They're going to do a Chicken Run 2. And of course, nothing ever came about. Well, now it looks like they are doing it because apparently Zachary Levi, who's keeping himself pretty busy playing Kurt Warner in Shazam, He is replacing Mel Gibson on Netflix's Chicken Run 2. So Chicken Run 2 is going direct to Netflix. And Zachary Levi is going to be doing the main voice. Now, he's not the only one. I can't remember her name, but the voice of the other lead chicken, and I cannot remember who did it, but I looked it up. Anyway, they're being replaced as well. And then there's a few returning voice cast members as well. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that Chicken Run was my all-time favorite animated film. It wasn't, but it was a fun little thing. And apparently now the whole synopsis of this one is after they kind of broke out of the chicken farm, this time they got to break back in. It's like, okay. And it's called something about nuggets is in the name of the thing, like the rise of the chicken nuggets.
Wow.
There's nothing I can't remember, something
So
like that.
it's like the Escape from New York
Yes.
of Chicken Run
the Chicken
movies.
Run universe. Rob, you hear about them
Julia Sawaha.
Yeah, she was the one who did the voice of
Ginger.
Ginger, right. And so she's not there either. Rob, what are your thoughts on the original one, and what do you think about this voice swap?
I'm a huge Aardman Animation fan, all the way back to their short Creature Comforts that won the Academy Award. I love the Wallace and Gromit movies. I loved Chicken Run. I'm in. I don't care who does the voice. I just love Aardman Animation.
Aaron, do you remember watching these films? Like these films, this one particular Chicken Run, did you ever watch it when it was a thing, like back in 1964?
No, in 2000?
In 2000? Is that when it came out? 2000?
Yeah, it came out in 2000.
I
No.
tell you what, I would have lost that bet. I would have bet it was at least 15 years old. Or sorry, I would have bet it was at least
2000,
25. Okay, yep.
2000
I
was...
would have bet 25. I would have bet 25. I would have thought it would have been the 90s.
I hate to break it to you, it is 2022,
Yeah.
and the year 2000 is 22 years ago.
I would have bet
which
25.
is blowing my mind. Yeah, apparently they're replacing her in the sequel because her voice sounds too old. So, ladies, even your voice is gonna get too old, is gonna age out of Hollywood. Which, you know, I get it. It does. If they're wanting a chicken, you know, chicken's gonna sound, you know, what do we have chicken?
Well, she didn't sound like that per se, but I think that's probably the same thing for
I'm trying to see who they recast her with.
if you listen to Mel Gibson today. I mean, his voice. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
Harrison
he's rough.
Ford. Like he couldn't just step back in and do the same voice again.
Yeah.
Ray, I know that Chicken Run holds a very, very special part in your heart.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's your connection to Chicken Run?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
But you were telling us before the show started.
Oh, there should be a different name for it. It should be Chicken Run 2. That fast cock. Oh,
that fast cock.
That's not what I was talking
That's
about.
a rooster, dude.
That's not a rooster.
That's not a chicken.
I don't know.
That's the full title.
Next.
Chicken
So you're
Run
Hollywood-
2.
you're
I never saw the movie. I heard it was great. Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about. No, I was working at Hollywood Video, and I remember when that came out on tape, everyone rented it, and it was like the worst thing to me because everyone was asking for it, and I never saw it. That's it. That's all my story was.
everybody
But
always
it was
rented
so
it.
back in the day that it's crazy.
But
how
that's
long
when
it
it.
was.
But that's how much things have changed from the time that Chicken Run 1 to Chicken Run 2.
Yeah,
that
the
fast
Ray was
cock.
working at Hollywood
There you
Video,
go.
renting out VHS tapes. of it.
Exactly.
Plus,
exactly.
Ray, you could have said Chicken Run 2 premiering on Cockbacks, and that would have been one witty joke.
Oh.
That would have been a witty joke.
Oh, I
Wow.
know. I was caught off guard. I didn't know it was gonna get thrown to me.
All right, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you remember Chicken Run? Did you ever watch it? Did you like it? Did you not? Are you looking forward to another one? How do you feel about the voice swap? It does really make sense because their voices do sound a lot different now. However you guys are feeling about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let me do one more off the top here, and that's this. It is not since WandaVision or Mandalorian and WandaVision have I found myself, with WandaVision and Mandalorian, it's like I count down to game day. It's countdown day all the time. So I was always counting down the hours till the next episode of WandaVision or the next episode of Mandalorian, right? I've wanted to do that and feel that way, but I just never got that on board with it as with Loki as I did with those ones. I just never got on board with it as much with Falcon and the Winter Soldier as I did with those ones, or Hawkeye as I did with those ones. And I'm certainly not there with Boba Fett right now. Even though I think the jury's still out on it, I thought the last episode was not bad.
Yeah.
But Peacemaker is now my de facto must-watch TV countdown clock to when the thing drops every week. And Peacemakers, and I've been wondering about Peacemaker episode 4. Because, you know, they dropped the first 3 episodes all at once, and it was great. And then you're worried, okay, was that lucky? Was that them getting lucky with this? Is episode 4 going to be when reality sets in? That this is John Cena being the lead actor in it? That this is just a lower budget spin-off of Suicide Squad? Is that when the reality is this glorious, beautiful honeymoon we've been on with the first 3 episodes all gonna fall apart like a nasty facade? And I'm so glad to report that it is not. Episode 4, and I'm not gonna go into specific details here for it. You guys, it is episode 4 of Peacemaker has cemented it to me as absolute must-watch TV. This thing was the funniest episode. This was the most emotional episode. I mean, this is a show that has this ability to just like blah, blah, blah. They have a conversation about ducks dressing up as humans. There's a conversation in this episode about ducks dressing as humans. I won't tell you the context. You can see it in there. And yet at the same time, as you get closer to the end of the episode, like they start introducing these really tragic and emotional elements into it. And I'm like, I wasn't prepared for this. This is heavy, including some flashbacks with Chris and things like that. And oh my God, I've liked him so far. But Vigilante is now officially, other than Peacemaker himself, Vigilante is now my favorite character on this show. And again, you'll go, really, Vigilante? I mean, he's kind of funny. Wait, if you haven't seen episode 4 yet, wait until you see episode 4. There is a scene in prison. There is a scene in prison that has become one of my favorite scenes all year of any television show I've seen in the past 12 months. One of my absolute favorite single scenes, and it has made me absolutely fall in love with this character. I love this guy now. I thought, oh, he's got the odd one-liner. He's okay. He's all right. He's the odd funny one-liner. Forget that. Now I am so in on Vigilante now that after 1 episode, I'm okay with a spin-off of the Suicide Squad spin-off. I'd be okay of Peacemaker, which is a spin-off of Suicide Squad, doing another spin-off of Vigilante at some point, because I could just watch this guy all day. And now watching the dynamic between the two of them is great. The writing of it, this was the first episode that James Gunn didn't direct, but it made sure to highlight at the beginning James Gunn written by thing. The writing is fantastic. The characters are great. And it does something that WandaVision has done that none of these other shows have been able to replicate. Loki came close with this, oh, who's the evil variant, right? But we never really got all that into that mystery. They are unfolding a mystery with the butterflies. And and with this new episode too, another moment of, wait, what? Like sort of thing. So I am enthralled with it as kind of a mystery. I'm enthralled with it as a comedy. I'm getting emotionally attached to the characters. What they are doing on this show is remarkable to me. Now, it's not going to be for everyone. This show is clearly not for a scene that's gag is a punch cut edit to a guy banging a girl in her bathroom from behind as she's rocking out the 80s rock hair. Clearly, that is not a show that's for everybody. But for whatever reason, it's for me. Yeah. I am loving this show. None of you guys have had a chance to watch this episode yet, right?
No, you just showed me a scene today.
I showed Rob one scene.
It is jaw-dropping. I mean, and the funny thing to me is the Vigilante was introduced, if memory serves, in the original not the original, but the new Teen Titans comic that George Perez and Marv Wolfman did. And then he was spun off into his own comic, and he ends up actually killing himself after 50 issues. That was end. And so, seriously, and now to see him, I always loved Adrian Chase. I always loved Vigilante. But I have to say, I want to go pull out all my Vigilante comics and slap them, because I think he's going to be a new fan favorite. And all of those Vigilante issues, at least based on the scene you showed me now, are going to go up in value because my God, he's got to be the character of the year.
Yeah, you know, when they first started showing the trailers and everything for the show, and then you see Vigilante character, and I'm like, oh, is this going to be the lame sidekick who isn't actually able to do anything, right? And so I kind of went in with a sour attitude towards him. But then in episode 3, when like Peacemaker can't bring himself to shoot the kids, and then he's like, hey buddy, why don't you just go sit over there for a second? And he gets behind the gun. Bang, and he's killing children. I'm like, oh my God, you just knew there was something a little bit more deep there than I initially feared. But yeah, guys, Peacemaker episode 4. If you haven't got on it yet, what are you waiting for? Go and get on it. You know, once you're done watching the John Campea Show, of course. Have you guys, maybe you have seen Peacemaker episode 4. If so, what did you think about it? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic here on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Aaron, what is our first main topic today?
Our first main topic comes from Dylan's dialogue. Hey there, John and team. Hey, I just read the news that Robert Pattinson is set to star in Bong Joon-ho's new film. The film, currently untitled, will be a sci-fi movie based on the novel Mickey 7 for Warner Brothers. I loved Parasite so damn much, so I am very much looking forward to this. What are your thoughts? And happy No Pants Thursday.
No, the No Pants Thursdays have returned. All right. Thanks a lot for that, man. And yes, listen, I remember back when they announced that Robert Pattinson was going to be Batman, and so many people were upset, but you could always tell immediately who are the people that have seen the amazing Robert Pattinson work that he's done between Twilight and now, and who hasn't. You could instantly tell, because people who have seen all of his work that he's done in all these great indie projects over the years have gone, oh, wow, this is a fascinating choice for Batman. And then, of course, the ones that were Twilight boy, they were the ones who have not seen Robert Pattinson's other work. You just tell that. But I remember when they announced it, we said, listen, guys, very quietly, all the big directors have been lining up behind the scenes trying to work with Robert Pattinson. They want this guy. Christopher Nolan wants this guy, right? Matt Reeves
got him.
Well, got him.
And then went out and that's what I'm going to say at the time. Christopher Nolan wanted him. Got him. Then Matt Reeves wanted him to be Batman. Got him. Well, now there's another name to be added to that. And it's Academy Award winner, of course, the director of Parasite, Bong Joon-ho, has now cast him to be in his next upcoming sci-fi epic. This comes to us from the folks over at IndieWire who write the following. According to Deadline, the Parasite director is in talks to write, direct, and produce an untitled film adaptation of Edward Ashton's upcoming novel, Mickey 7, for Warner Brothers. Bong also has his eye on Robert Pattinson to star. Plan B, Kate Street Picture Company, and Bong's production company Offscreen are slated to produce. The Batman star, Pattinson, proved perfect for the lead. It wasn't long before Bong and execs were impressed with Pattinson following his meeting and felt he was perfect for the role, with an offer going out right before the new year, Deadline reported. And this is a very interesting kind of sounding project. Now, I don't know a lot about it. It's based on a book. It's based on a novel that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
They were so enthused with this that they actually fed him the manuscript for it prior to the book coming out. And I lost the description for the movie.
The Martian meets Multiplicity.
The Martian meets Multiplicity. So
High concept sci-fi thriller in which Mickey 7, an expendable, refuses to let his replacement clone Mickey 8 take his place.
So the basic idea was he's part of a colony and he gets all the jobs that are the most dangerous jobs. But whenever he dies, his consciousness gets transformed into a new thing and becomes Mickey 2, Mickey 3, Mickey 4. Well, apparently it said in the description that I read that Mickey 7 goes off on some mission he's assumed dead, but then he comes back. Only there's a Mickey 8 now. And you cannot have two at the same time. So now he's like kind of in hiding and stuff like that.
But wouldn't they have needed to transfer the consciousness from Mickey 7 into Mickey 8?
They say the consciousness gets transferred. So that increases the mystery of it. Like, what is Soylent Green?
Who is Mickey 8?
Who is Mickey 8?
And do the consciousness get transferred at all?
Or that's the question, right? So it brings up a whole different layer of mystery. And again, being brought to us by the guy who did Parasite. I remember when Ann and I first went to go watch Parasite, we were like floored by it. Like, I just thought it was so well done, so well paced, so well told, that I've been really excited. Of course, he's done a lot of other stuff. He's done everything from the giant monster creature epics to Academy Award winning things like Parasite. I mean, Ho has done a lot of great stuff.
Serial killer movie, Memories of Murder, is really good too.
That's a good one. And now we've got this, and he's working with Robert Pattinson. I don't know if this is going to do much to put any more respect on Pattinson's name. I think that's still going to, that jury's still going to be out for a lot of people until we see the Batman. Like, once we see the Batman, I think then people will finally take it seriously. Because there are still a lot of people. You guys don't get it. There's still a lot of people who write to me every day that's like, well, I'm not interested in the Batman. You get this little Harry Potter kid. This a lot. Then I often forget that he was in Harry Potter too. But you got to get this little scrawny blah 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 kid in it, and there's this little like whatever.
Christian Bale was in Newsies.
I mean, yes, he was. Christian Bale was in Newsies.
He grows up, and I don't understand. Can I just say, the Twilight franchise was hugely popular and made a hell of a lot of money,
billions.
And it's like, what's wrong? It's a vampire franchise about a girl falling in love with a vampire. Who doesn't love that? Everyone loves vampires, right? Don't they? And there's werewolves. I don't understand. I love the Twilight franchise. Bring it on. I only read the first book.
What do you think about the sounds of this Mickey 7? How's this sound?
It sounds cool. I mean, what is it with cloning? Mahershala Ali is in that new movie, Swan Song with it's Glenn Close as the doctor, and he's dying, and they've created a clone of him.
Well, because we're getting so close to it. We cloned Dolly the sheep, and now that guy had a successful heart transplant from a pig that was all,
We're 20 years since the clones attacked.
I mean, I think that because we've seen so many advances in the technology of AI, I think people are really kind of freaked out. Like, oh my God.
The closer it becomes to being reality, the more
we're going to see it.
See, I'm looking forward to them making an army of clones of me. That's what I look forward to.
And they're gonna and they will dominate the earth by talking incessantly about the verisimilitude of
verisimilitude.
The verisimilitude of physical media.
What can I say? I'm going to send my army out into the world to make it a better place.
Aaron, you're here about this Mickey 7, Bong Joon-ho. What do you think about it?
Well, first of all, Bong Joon-ho is such a I don't want to say a Cinderella story, but he really is an inspirational story for filmmakers, not just aspiring filmmakers in America, but all over the world. Because let's face it, even though America is not the end all be all of entertainment, I get that. However, being a filmmaker, when you come to America and you win on the stage of the Oscars, it definitely elevates your profile in a way that it just is not in other countries. And so when Bong Joon-ho won the Academy Award for Parasite for a film that was really, shot in very few locations, it didn't have any big bombs exploding. It wasn't a big studio movie that was all over the place. It was kind of like a quiet sleeper hit that came in. And let's face it, it had no recognizable actors no recognizable American audience actors. I'll say that. And it was with subtitles. No one would have predicted that 5 years prior.
No.
That would have won the Academy Award. And so he really changed the game when it came to international films getting the world's platform, on that kind of stage. And now we see him being able to attract the most exciting and sought after actors in Hollywood. Let's face it, as you just said, Robert Pattinson has his choice of anyone that he wants to work with. And so the fact that he chose this project really says something. I think that it's going to be incredible. I don't love the name. Sorry. Mickey is just, it's too, it just reminds me too much, not of what you're thinking. Oh, Mickey, you're so
That's
fun.
exactly
You're
what I
so
was
fun.
No, I was
Oh,
actually
really?
thinking
That's
of Mickey
exactly what I
Mantle.
was
It
thinking.
sounds like a baseball. Is it the history? Is it a Mickey Mantle movie that's set in the?
Or you're thinking Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
But I was
Mickey, you're
instantly
so fun.
thinking,
You're
yeah.
so fun. You blow my mind.
Thing about
No,
Bong Joon-ho also is that he works in all different genres.
Yeah.
You know, he's
Master.
a consummate storyteller. And I've been, Korean cinema is some of the most vibrant and creative in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we got Squid Game this year, which was an incredible phenomenon. And there's some incredible, I love horror movies. I Saw the Devil. If you want to see a movie, watch, he didn't direct it, but watch I Saw the Devil.
Is it a
Kingdom was-
Korean film?
It's a Korean film.
Because I will
Kingdom
watch
was-
anything that comes out of Korea.
Have you watched Kingdom?
That's
I have not watched Kingdom.
Kingdom, that's the period piece Game of Thrones. It's a period piece zombie thing. That's kind of
It's awesome.
like
I
Game of
love
Thrones sort of thing. It's-
anything with a zombie. If you are the undead,
as long as it's not a
eating-
zombie spider.
as long as it's not a zombie spider, I'm into it. And Train to Busan still remains.
Have you seen the new Korean? There's I think it's dropping on Netflix. I think it's called All of Us Are Dead.
I'm in.
It looks incredible.
What
And
was
it's another Korean
What was
zombie
the
movie.
recent Korean TV show about where they come up and it's like you will die?
Hellbound.
Oh
yeah.
my!
It was so good.
Hellbound was amazing.
It was amazing.
Netflix? Was that
It's on Netflix.
Oh
yeah.
my God, Hellbound! I'm sweating right now just thinking about it. The season 2 of Hellbound. Oh my God, I can't deal.
By the
was
way,
really good.
I don't know if it's Korean or not. I don't know. I think it's Korean though. But my buddy Dennis, you guys know the Zen Master, Dennis
Yeah.
Zen. I was on his Facebook and he put up this thing that him and his lady were sitting in for the night watching. I'd never heard of this. All I saw was from the neck to about the mid thigh, some hot-bodied girl in a bikini on some beach. And it says, "Singles Inferno." And I'm like, what? And I wrote on his social media, I'm like, what the hell is Singles Inferno? And he said, it's exactly what you think it is. It's an Asian, Lust Island kind of reality show where
You know that
they
there was
send a
a
bunch
rea-
of singles there to get
You know there
hot
was a
with each
reality show called Fuckboy Island.
Yep.
What?
It was, and I actually texted Brecken Meyer about it because we had been talking about the term fuckboy when we were shooting Good Girls. And I texted him and I go, oh my God, there's actually a show called Fuckboy Island. And he goes, I know, I'm actually working with the creator of the show on another project.
Elizabeth and I watched that. Oh, and it's the female comedian that I love, and I'm drawing.
Kat Dennings.
She's no, it's not. No. She's an actual stand-up that she's always at the celebrity roasts, and she goes on the talk shows.
Amy
a lot.
Schumer.
No,
Whitney.
different one.
Whitney Cummings.
Nope. And I.
one that talks like this?
We need to
She's
move
the
on.
host.
We
She's
need to
the-
move on. We've gone way too. We're getting off topic.
Yeah,
here.
what was the topic again?
But anyway,
Bong
guys,
Joon-ho.
Mickey-
Mickey
Question
7.
for
We're
you.
all going to watch it. Bong Joon-ho.
What do you guys think about this? We got Robert Pattinson joining Bong Joon-ho's new film, coming off of Parasite, which won multiple Academy Awards. How do you guys feel about this? Are you interested or you're not? Whatever your thinking is, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Aaron, what is our second main topic today?
This comes to us from Michael D'Souza. Hey, John and crew. I hope you're having a great day and staying safe. We are, thank you. As I was scrolling through Twitter this afternoon, I found out that Black Panther 2 has hit another bump in the road. Black Panther Wakanda Forever's filming has unfortunately been delayed again due to a surge in the Omicron COVID-19 variant on the Atlanta set. This is not the first time production has been delayed, and I'm worried that this movie is going to be a mess. Do you think it's inevitable that its release date gets delayed? And do you think these delays have a large impact on the movie or the final product itself?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And yeah, obviously, look, Black Panther 2 has had a couple of stops in production, all that kind of stuff. Do I think this is going to impact it's the quality of the movie? No, the script doesn't change. Just because they have to stop shooting and start shooting, the script is still the script. So it's not like it's not like I often compare the world of movies to the world of athletics and sports, but there are some ways in which it's very, very different. It ain't like a tennis match where it's like a rain delay happens for 3 hours. The tennis players' muscles start to cramp. They're like they whatever, like all that kind of stuff, and all of a sudden they got to come out and try to get back into the rhythm of things. It's not the same thing on a movie set, right? Like you're able to step in there day one. These are pros. They'll step in there, do their job. Aaron Cummings was cast in King Richard. And then the day before she's supposed to go shoot, the COVID hit, and she had to wait, 8 months?
March to November, whatever that math is.
Whatever that math is, before she had to go on. Do you think, now she didn't know her role? No, she was able to step back in there, go and did her role, and that's the way it is. So I don't think it's going to affect it that much. The more interesting question to me is, will it affect the release date? Now, before we talk about that, let's go over and take a look at what we're being told from the folks over at CBR who write the following. Production on Black Panther Wakanda Forever has been paused again after the Nakia actor Lupita Nyong'o, also known as the future ex-Mrs. Campea, and several other cast and crew members tested positive for COVID-19. The delay comes on the heels of another, with Nyong'o co-star Letitia Wright having just recently returned to set following her recovery from a fractured shoulder and a concussion that she sustained in an incident on the film set in November of 2021. The positive COVID tests meant that the production on Wakanda Forever was again halted a week after resuming, reported The Hollywood Reporter. No details regarding the health of Nyong'o or the other cast and crew members were released. All right, so here we are again. The production shut down, whatever. Is this going to delay the release date of the film? My guess right now, and I feel pretty good about this guess, is no. I mean, look, they don't plan these films with 1 day buffer. Mm-hmm. They don't plan these films, okay, we're going to be shooting, post-production should end 36 hours before the movie opens, we should be good. They give themselves, they plan for contingencies, they make sure they have buffers. And honestly, the delays they faced, especially recently, have been relatively minor. It's not like they had to shut down for 5 months. So I don't think it's going to kind of come in and impact that altogether. Is the film going to be a mess because of this? I don't think so. I mean, there is one potential reason why it could be a mess, which is the fact that they decided to get rid of the main character, which is, it reminds me of them deciding to get rid of T'Challa and replace T'Challa, who's become such a culturally important character. Did you guys ever watch, any of you guys watch Stargate SG-1, the TV show?
Only the first season.
Okay, so here's the thing. I used to watch that show and I used to love it. And then at some point, Richard Dean Anderson, who is the lead of it, they just decided, I guess it was in his contract, like, I guess he didn't want to work that much anymore. So they made him the general instead, and he only popped in for like one scene here and there, right? And they swapped out the main, instead of recasting the role, they swapped him out for a new guy he's the leader of SG-1, and they had all the same other cast. And for me, as somebody who really liked the show, I would watch and be like, this isn't the same. I get it. All the other characters are still there. I get it. But the guy who's been the focal point of this show for all these seasons is suddenly now gone, and you just replace it with a new character. It would have been less jarring just to say it's recast and say it's the same character, because it never felt the same to me.
It's a different energy.
It's a different energy. So if anything is going to make Black Panther 2 feel off, I don't think it's going to be the delays. I don't think it's going to be, they weren't able to get back into the groove of things. I think they totally will. Listen, you got Coogler. Coogler's directing this thing. He will have this thing running tight and running perfectly. We've already seen him do it on multiple films before. We know what he can bring to the table. But I'm still just a little bit worried about the fact that they decided to take Black Panther out of the Black Panther movie. Black Panther's China, somebody else get fuck off. I'm sorry, T'Challa is our Black Panther. And I hate that they wrote him out, but whatever, I'll get over it. You know what the thing is? It's Ryan Coogler. I'm probably going to watch 15 minutes of this new movie, and I'm probably going to be totally in, because Ryan Coogler has yet to fail to get me totally entrenched in whatever movies he's doing. But am I worried about the delays? Honestly, I'm not worried about it at all. I don't think this thing's going to be delayed. Aaron, I mean, obviously, you recently have been a part of something that has had big delays and stuff like that. Could this be very problematic for them, or
No.
do you think it's gonna be okay?
No, when we hear about delays in a film and it's because they have to go back and do rewrites or because there was a creative difference between the star of the movie and the director, like that's when you go, oh, there's some problems going on here because they don't know what movie they're making. I say we, the people who are involved in Wakanda Forever, they know what movie they're making. They are all on the same page. And these types of things, especially when you have a film that's being shot in a time of COVID, any film or television show that is being shot in during COVID has like you said, a buffer zone that is even bigger than the buffer that was there pre-COVID, because they understand there are going to be positive COVID tests. We're going to need to take a break because we're going to have to shut down production. But here's the thing. They're shutting down the physical production on Unit 1. That doesn't mean that the post-production has shut down.
Work is still being done.
Right. Work is still being done. They're just not actively filming the Unit 1 stuff. And because of the incredible amount of post-production work and CGI that goes into a film like Wakanda Forever, that's really where a lot of the time gets taken. And so there's ways of doing double duty on these types of films. And to speak to your point, if they just called it Black Panther 2, I don't know, Electric Boogaloo, which is my favorite of all the sequel titles. If they just called it Black Panther 2, I would see what you're talking about. But I the fact that they're saying Wakanda Forever already lets me know we are telling the story of the world. We're not telling the story of one singular character. And so I do like that, and that gives me hope for this, even though we're not going to see T'Challa. But no, there's a reason why there's insurance on films, and as you said, there's always a massive buffer of time, and that is built in, especially in the time of COVID.
And one of the things I probably should mention here too is that the star Picard recently shut down because like 50 members of the crew, they were up and running again pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Rob, you've been tracking this, you've been keeping your eye on this. What do you think about them facing another delay? I mean, they've had others to another delay. And do you think this is going to have a big impact in the film moving forward?
I think if anything, I mean, I look at what Aaron just said to be, in a way, it can be beneficial because you're going to go into the edit bay and Ryan Coogler's going to look at what they've already shot. And it's an opportunity to be like, okay, if this is working, we're good. But if it's not, are there things that we can go in and shoot and add? Is there a way to employ second unit to go out and do pickups or whatever it is you might need? So there's never enough time on any movie, even if it's budgeted correctly and all that. You always want more time. What do they say about great art? It's great art is never finished, it's only abandoned. And I think that in this case, look, Marvel, I don't think in Hollywood history there has been a more finely oiled machine in terms of making films than Marvel Studios. They really know what they're doing. And all of this, I think, ultimately will benefit the film.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about this? Unfortunately, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever has been delayed again because this time of the new variant of COVID. Are you worried that it's going to cause some disruptions? Do you think maybe it won't? Whatever you guys are feeling about it, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. Before we get into our final main topic today, let's pay some bills here and thank the sponsor of today's video, the good folks over at Peloton. We want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of today's video, Peloton. Now look, guys, it's a brand new year. It's 2022. And if you're like me and a lot of other people, you've probably made some kind of fitness resolutions for the new year, as we often do. But let's face it, it's not always easy or convenient or time efficient to get to the gym. It's easy to become bored and bogged down in the mundane of the same old kind of workout routines. It's hard to get motivated with that. But Peloton has your back. Now, of course, we all know Peloton's bikes, the Peloton tread. Ann and I moved into to our new house here. And of course, you know that I ordered a Peloton tread because I love my treadmills. But Peloton keeps working out fresh, exciting, and new to keep you motivated in the new year. Because, you know, right now, Peloton is pushing you further with so much new stuff, new classes, new music, new ways to keep you and your workouts fun and motivating at the same time. Now, you guys know me for years. I love just getting on my treadmill. I don't just get on there to jog. I often just get on there to think or do work or do research. I like doing all that. But on top of all that, they have a whole lot of classes that you can do while you're on the equipment at the same time. And listen, going into the new year, they've got a whole bunch of new stuff. For example, they have boxing classes. Peloton is stepping into the ring with you guys with this newest exercise. No gloves needed. You can discover fast, furious, and fun workouts with Peloton instructors right there in your corner on the app. And they're introducing a whole lot more in terms of daily variety in your workouts. Like, it's easier to stick to your goals when you keep your workouts interesting. Peloton's got a workout for every goal, every day, and every mood you might be in. De-stress from a long day with a 30-minute strength and 20 minutes of cardio. Do a quick 15 minutes of a total body class before work. Whatever works for you to stay motivated while having fun with bike workouts, yoga, meditation, dance, cardio, whatever it is you need. And right now, for a limited time, try the Peloton app for free for 2 months. Then it's just $12.99 a month after that. New members only. So visit onepeloton.com/app to learn more. Now that's 2 months free at One Peloton. That's OnePeloton.com/app. The offer expires on January 31st and terms may apply. And again, we want to thank Peloton for sponsoring this video. And of course, don't forget, guys, with the Peloton stuff, you don't have to have even the equipment. Just the app itself is amazing. Go and check it out today. And we want to thank Peloton for supporting this video. All right, with that down, guys, let's move on to main topic number 3. Aaron, what is our third main topic today?
This comes to us from Jason Dunnigan. Hey, John, Rob, Ray, and welcome back, Aaron. Thank you so much. Was going through my Twitter and saw a few new promo posters for the Batman. They're both really simple, but look great to me. With the movie just a month and a half away, are we about to see a big publicity push like we did for Spider-Man? Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yeah, obviously, my number one most anticipated movie of the year, on its way, almost here. The Batman, March 4th, month and a half away. You know what? It is completely snuck up on us. Because I remember just like 2 weeks ago, even still thinking about the Batman in terms of someday. Someday it's coming. Someday it's coming. But it is a month and a half away. We're like 6 weeks away, which I cannot believe and is amazing. And we haven't really seen them completely ramp up their marketing yet. And what we saw, for instance, in Spider-Man No Way Home was, yeah, they dropped a trailer and they then dropped this. But once you got within about 4 weeks of Spider-Man No Way Home coming out, everywhere you looked, there was Spider-Man marketing. Whether it was brand new TV commercials or a whole bunch of new stuff like little special, the little featurette things popping up on YouTube, or whether it's Tom Holland in a Spider-Man costume in a new Ioniq 5 car commercial or whatever. But did you ever see that car commercial?
I didn't.
It's so funny. There's this great little car commercial where Tom Holland's hiding out in a hotel room and he's watching a TV screen where J. Jonah is saying, "Where the reason Spider-Man is hiding from everybody." And Tom Holland goes, "It's time to clear my name." And he runs out of the hotel, shoots a web, but he's in the middle of the Great Plains and the web goes nowhere.
Where do you see commercials?
I know, right? It's
I don't think I've watched a commercial in like 4 years.
Yeah, it comes up on YouTube and it comes up on TV.
Those Ioniq 5s are
and
cool,
then
too.
Ned pulls up in the Ioniq 5.
Love it.
It says, "Get on in." And they go, but there were several of those. They really, like everywhere you looked, they didn't drop a third trailer during Monday Night Football like they should have, but made me have to eat ketchup on eggs because they didn't do that. But everywhere else you looked, there was Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. We're now getting into that frame of time where we're going to get that again with Batman. And they've kind of kicked things off here with a couple of really sweet looking images, including this one, which I think looks just fantastic. I love that. That's the beautiful background using kind of very Batman-esque that they've used in a lot of, like, going back to even some Christopher Nolan stuff, just really getting that silhouette, kind of that iconic silhouette, which I think looks really, really good. And they call it the Bat and the Cat is the name of this poster.
I mean, the silhouette. Let's be real.
Oh,
Ain't nobody looking at that bat's ears.
I'm looking at the cowl.
Ain't nobody looking at his cowl. We are, and you know what? I believe that Zoe Kravitz might be single-handedly responsible for revolutionizing the bra industry and bringing us back to the bullet bra of the beautiful 1950s and 60s.
Wow.
I was talking about the bat cowl.
I have ovaries. I'm going to say it, and I can't get canceled for it. That's where I went straight to it. That was absolutely on purpose. Well done. I am thrilled to see Zoe Kravitz in this role in every capacity. And, you know, as a red-blooded American bisexual woman, I approve that poster.
Wow.
Well, it looks great. I mean, it does look great. Again, that the yellows and oranges of the sunset and stuff, getting the sense of the city. That one's really good. And then a very, very simple one. Where did that really simple one go? There.
Yeah,
no.
that's cool.
Oh, I lost it. Where'd the simple one go?
Wait, isn't it the one? Scroll up.
Here,
Scroll up.
I'll bring it up on screen.
The simple one with the green question mark in his eyeball?
No, this one.
I hadn't seen that one.
With the close-up face,
that's cool.
Unmask the truth, that close-up tight shot of the face and everything like
And
that.
look in the eye.
Got it all right in the eye. Like just
But there's a green question mark
Is there
inside
really?
the eye if you look really close.
Or maybe someone edited the one you saw.
I don't see it.
I don't know.
I don't see it, but I mean, it might be in there. I mean, it kind of looks like there's the glow of maybe a television screen that he's looking at.
And I love the font.
Oh.
I'm a font freak, and the Unmask the Truth March 4th font in that sort of like in that kind of hostile font looks like someone scratched it on the inside of a prison wall.
And I've always loved the logo. I mean, I'm a big fan of the logo, but the logo I thought just looks great. It's got that.
Everyone is saying that question mark is there.
Yeah.
If you zoom in,
It's in the eye.
so
They say it's in the eye, really?
yeah. If you zoom into it, if you can find it, it's in there. Mm-hmm. Like it's a good move to not make it obvious.
Yeah.
Like
You
I
have to
hate
re-
obvious things in posters.
You probably can really see it if it's blown up on
Yeah,
a poster.
Okay, well, let's blow up the poster. I think very, very faintly, I think you're right.
This is just a bad screener.
I think you can see it's very, very faint.
When
very
I'm coming
subtle.
down the escalator at the Grove and it's like right there, then I'll be able to see
Then
it.
you'll probably be able to see it, but I think it's looking pretty good there. So, yeah, I mean, I just love these images. I think they look great. Rob, you had a chance to take a look at these.
Dude.
What do you think about them?
Dude, come on. I mean, the two things that I got to point out when I said I came in today, those posters, both of them are dope. And then, of course, today, Hot Toys announced
Yes.
the Batman figures. I'm like,
I
yeah.
knew it was coming soon.
But so when you said that they've ramped up the marketing campaign, I think there's now a coordinated effort. I'm sure the Lego sets are going to be announced.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You know, we're going to see more
to go to
commercials.
Target.
It's a
Target.
machine.
Time
But
to go to
I like
Target.
it when they delay it. You know, I don't like to see too much, you know, hoo-ha before, you know, and it's like all of this, oh my God, this is coming out. Oh no, it's not coming out for another
And
6 months.
February is a short month.
Exactly.
It's a short month, so
Yeah.
we're less than a month and a half away.
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing too. I think this is another sign or symptom, if you will, of the fact that just a couple of years ago, studios were dropping their trailers a year before a movie came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like
11
that.
months before a movie
You
came
were
out.
saying that about Godzilla versus
I mean,
King of
I
the Monsters.
honestly
It's
think one
annoying.
of the big reasons Godzilla King of the Monsters didn't do as well is because they literally dropped the first trailer that got everybody excited, everybody buzzed a year before the movie came out. And by the time the movie came, it's like, oh, that's still coming out? Like that?
Oh,
Like,
didn't that already come out a year?
And
Oh,
people are like,
I
wait,
missed
did that worse? They're like, didn't I already see that?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
No,
People don't even
exactly.
know the amount of content that's out there. You're
It's-
like, wait a minute, did I?
And now I think what we're seeing is not only have we've been clearly seeing for the last couple of years that shortening that window between when they drop trailers and when the movie's coming out, but you're also seeing them starting to focus the overall ad campaign as well. There's little things that come out earlier, but they really wait until you get to within 3 weeks, and then they really start the push because they realize buzz is like a wave, right? You got to feed the momentum, because if you do too early, the momentum dies out, and then you fizzle out and you spent all that money and energy for nothing. And I think with this coming in here now, I think this is going to be the kickoff. And I think in the next week or two, we're really going to start to see a ramping up of this. Aaron, Yeah, again, you saw the one silhouette, but what do you think about the two images altogether?
Oh, I think that they're great. I'm really excited about it. Like I said, for all of the font freaks out there like me, I thought even something as subtle as that. And the reason why font to me is important is because it is an often overlooked element that says you're not paying attention to details. If you're going to throw some Helvetica at me, I know that this is going to be some bullshit. But if you have a very specific font that I know you put some thought into, I go, okay, if you're going to pay attention to the font detail, I know you're paying attention to every other detail. And I like that. The devil's in the details, and I like the devil.
Wasn't there there was a Saturday Night Live sketch with Ryan Gosling?
Papyrus.
Papyrus!
Yes!
Yeah, remember that? The avatar font is just papyrus. And
Yes,
they did that whole sketch of
it is. It totally is. Don't throw brush font at me. I'll kill you. I will strangle you if you put brush font.
Comic Sans, baby. Comic Sans.
Oh, geez.
Impact.
Well, as
I
somebody,
like Impact.
I like Impact.
I use Impact a lot more than I should.
Trajan's a good font.
But
Trajan's a good font.
It
That's
is
a
a-
Star Wars font. That's the one they used in never mind.
I wanted to ask you, Ray, as somebody who does like every day, your job is you're trying to put together these graphically, appealing things. What did you think about the images we just saw?
Oh, they look great. I actually would like to see the Batman close up without the Batman on it, just so I could
Without
have
the
that
logo on it, you
Yeah,
mean?
just because. But there's probably there's always somebody that creates a textless version.
Yeah, Boss
Yeah,
Logic
yeah,
will do
yeah.
some cool
Yeah,
thing.
and-
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
Boss Logic is definitely.
I'm
doing some
depending
stuff
on
this,
people
yeah.
like Boss Logic to make my work easier.
Thank you, Boss Logic.
Thank you, Boss Logic.
Yeah, it's just something I can steal to use as a thumbnail.
Oh
later.
yeah, I figure borrow. I'm not making money off of it. Just borrow.
Right.
Just a place. So,
But you're just giving him a signal boost.
Yeah.
Here's a question too. This is one we all got to go to together, right? Like we got the first Thursday night screening.
Yep.
We all probably got to go to this
I'm
one,
in.
right?
Are we talking about Moonfall? Of course. Absolutely.
Dude, you and I
They're skipping Moonfall.
You and
can't
I are
believe it.
doing a special
I was
John
telling
Campea
everybody-
Show Moonfall video.
Everyone's
We are.
always clamoring for original idea. The moon attacking Earth. What else? What else do you need? Everyone
Dude.
who wants an original idea, let's go watch it. I don't care if it's
You
crap.
don't have to convince me.
The moon has been orbiting Earth for so long. It said, man, what the am I doing? I'm about
tired of
to
being a
eat this
second
fool.
fiddle.
And it's going to happen. The moon will win. Poll, will the moon win? Of course.
It's gonna be
Let's put a poll. Will the moon
The
win?
question of the day.
Only
Will
one
the
answer,
moon.
of course. All right.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about these new Batman images? I think they look great, and I think they're the tip of the iceberg of a whole lot of marketing we're going to start seeing in the next couple of weeks. How are you feeling about it? Are you excited about it? Do you feel the energy ramping up? Maybe you're not all that into Batman. Whatever you guys are feeling, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, and before we get into our live questions, I thought we'd play another little round of fill in the blank.
Uh-oh.
We, of course, did this yesterday. Let's do it again here today. So here's how it goes. I'm going to propose a statement to you fine folks. And it's going to end with a blank, and you tell us how it ends and why you think it ends that way. And we're going to start with this. A really interesting report came out that said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is not the #1 earning Instagrammer anymore. It's actually Cristiano Ronaldo,
Yeah,
the soccer player,
that's not surprising.
who makes like $1.6 million per post that he puts up on Instagram. Well, just behind him, the #2 celebrity is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So here's our fill in the blank. And Aaron, we'll start with you. The Rock earning $1.5 million per Instagram post is absolutely blank.
The Rock earning $1.5 million per Instagram post is absolutely not enough money.
Why?
And here is why. Because if we talk about, let's compare it to the Super Bowl. Right now, it costs $5.6 million to have a 30-second spot in the Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl for the past 10 years has never been able to get more than, on average, 112 million viewers.
Which makes it the largest viewed thing in the world.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Super Bowl isn't a big fucking deal and that people shouldn't be spending that money on the Super Bowl. It's really great. However, The Rock has 291 million a million fans, million followers. So you're talking about more than double, almost 3 times the number of viewers. And you can specifically get the demographics of those viewers, which you cannot always do when you're talking about the viewers of the Super Bowl. And on top of that, for The Rock to make, to do 30 seconds, which is probably not even going to be 30 seconds. It'll probably be more like a minute. It'll probably be a reel that's about a minute. So you're getting double the ad space. He's going to be talking about it personally. Yes. And you're not going to have to do any of the production, which the production cost of those Super Bowl ads is at minimum around $750,000 to begin with. So you're actually saving money if you go straight to the source of The Rock instead of doing something at the Super Bowl.
The Rock earning $1.5 million per Instagram post is absolutely obvious. I mean, for all those things, you're talking about 250 plus million Instagram things. When he puts out something, that many eyeballs are going to see it. And so, it sounds like a ridiculous number, but it actually kind of makes sense. Ray, we'll go over to you. The Rock earning $1.5 million per Instagram post is absolutely
well-deserved.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, from his debut, Survivor Series 1996, Rocky Maivia, to him playing that role the best he could. And then, just getting it, he's earned every dollar he's made. Whether you like him as an actor or not, all his tweets of get motivating people. It's very inspiring. Obviously not to me, because look at me. But he helps a lot of people, and he's always stayed true. There's some drama with him and Vin Diesel, but whatever. It's well deserved. Everything he gets.
All right, The Rock earning $1.5 million per Instagram post is absolutely what, Rob?
Proof positive that Dwayne Johnson's guns are worth more than Kim Kardashian's ass.
Wow. Hope he's got him insured.
By the way, Kardashian is also in the top 10
Well,
list.
that's why I said
something about millions of dollars as
That's
well.
why I said no. I mean, I think that to be fair, like Ray was pointing out, Dwayne Johnson, his social media profile has been fairly uplifting. I always think that he always sort of aims high. He helps people. He always puts a smile on my face. He makes me feel better about being a human being. And,
all right.
Then again, so does Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
All right, let's move on to the next one here. The next one. Well, we got Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness coming out. Here's something we've talked about a little bit. Wanda turning out to be the villain of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness would be blank. What would it be, Rob?
Not in the least bit surprising. Because, WandaVision of Wanda in the comics went crazy, and she completely changed the reality of the Marvel Comics universe forever, until it was, of course, changed back.
I like that. Wanda turning out to be the villain of the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness would be ballsy. I mean, for them to go in that direction, take this character, we've got a lot of empathy for her as well coming out of WandaVision. I think they've planted the seeds of her going a little bit nuts to actually take that character that is loved right now, make her go violent. I think it would be great narrative. I think it would be absolutely fascinating fun. I think it would be ballsy.
Me too.
Ray, Wanda turning out to be the villain of Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness would be
a nightmare for all the heroes. It would be an absolute nightmare. This girl is so destructive. If she wants to be, she's gonna murder some people if she becomes the villain.
That's a good point, because if you look in Infinity War, she comes down taking on everybody, and even was it Okoye who said, why has she not been down here the whole time? She would be a nightmare. All right, Aaron, Wanda turning out to be the villain of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness would be
awesome, but not as fun as if it were Agatha.
As Agatha?
Agatha.
Agatha.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, I think it's the obvious choice, and it makes a lot of sense, and she's going to cause lots of doom and destruction, and that is fantastic. But I personally would love if it was Agatha, because she's just a fun character, and I want to see a lot more of her. And isn't she supposed to be getting her own show?
And she has a theme song.
Yeah, she has a theme song. That's always
Wanda
fun.
Doesn't.
Yeah. We got to get Wanda a theme
Actually,
song.
that's not true, because she does have a theme song, doesn't she? Because they have it on WandaVision.
Well, she had several iterations of the theme songs. By the way, Aaron's camera went out because it looked like her power cord had fallen out somewhere during the night. So sorry about that. We'll get
Agatha did it.
Agatha did it. But we'll get Aaron in the wide shot there. Okay. Let's move on to the third one. Third one is this. Luke Evans / Josh Gad's upcoming Beauty and the Beast prequel series kind of seems, and by the way, we're just coming off of Hawkeye, and what's his name? Fee? The guy who played Echo's main guy.
Yeah.
That guy who betrays her at the end. They just announced that he's joined the show as well. So for those who didn't know, Disney Plus has a prequel series with Luke Evans Gaston. So once again, Luke Evans and Josh Gad's upcoming Beauty and the Beast prequel series kind of seems blank. What does it seem to you, Aaron?
Cute if you're into that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not personally into Beauty and the Beast, but I think that they have a really good dynamic with one another. And I love the fact that it's written by Josh Gad. So Josh Gad, I think, is really funny, and he is not afraid to make fun of himself. And I think it'll be interesting to see a origin story of them. All
right, Ray, the Luke Evans, Josh Gad upcoming Beauty and the Beast prequel series kind of seems
late.
Oh.
That's I don't know. I don't know when Beauty and the Beast came out.
It came out in 2017.
But it's just they should have really got on this right away. Just to, coming off of that movie, I just don't know. Yeah, I just think it's late.
All right, well, Luke Evans and Josh Gad's upcoming Beauty and the Beast prequel seems kind of awesome to me. I'm going to use the word awesome. I'll tell you why. Listen, the live action 2017 Beauty and the Beast was nowhere near as good as the animated one, but it was good. I mean, it was a good movie. But I'll tell you what I loved. I loved Luke Evans' Gaston and Josh Gad's LeFou and their dynamic together on there. They were absolutely my favorite part of that movie. So I was excited about this when I first heard about it years ago. Obviously, the pandemic has put a wrench in it, but the fact that they're getting rolling on it now, I think is awesome. So Rob, the Luke Evans, Josh Gad's upcoming Beauty and the Beast prequel series kind of seems
like the next Bad Boys for Life.
How does that work out?
Well, I mean, I just think the two of them, it's going to be a reinvention of the buddy cop genre.
Yes.
Although what their buddy's doing, I don't quite yet know. But all I know is I'm there for it.
It also could really revolutionize Disney if we start having origin stories of supporting characters as series. And maybe that's the reason why it wasn't done earlier, is because, right now we're really seeing a massive, we say all these series. Maybe it didn't make sense to have it as a movie back in 2018, but now they're like, hey, it may not work as a standalone feature, but this could be great as a series.
Tinkerbell, the college years.
All right. Next up,
it was only until graduation.
Next up, we've got X-Men and Mutants will finally show up in Marvel's MCU in 2023. When Kevin Feige came out and said a while ago, when they took over Fox, everybody expected that X-Men and everything were all of a sudden going to appear in everything. And every new Marvel project that's come out in the last 5 years, everybody said, this is when X-Men are going to come in. But it's not. Kevin Feige stuck to the plan. But guess what? We are now pretty much at the door of the end of that 5-year period. And I don't think we're going to see any of them pop up this year, but I think 2023 is where we're going to get our first look at them. Anyway, Ray, we're over to you. X-Men and Mutants will finally show up in Marvel's MCU blank.
Phase 5?
Oh, so you're going beyond 2023.
Yeah, Phase 5. I think this should be really thought out, and obviously Kevin Feige will do that, but I think with all the delays and everything, it'll probably be moved to Phase 5. Before, my answer was Disney Plus library, because I didn't think the X-Men movies were on Disney Plus, but I think I looked it up and they are. So.
Yeah, they're starting to move over there. All right, Rob, over to you. X-Men and Mutants will finally show up in Marvel's MCU.
Later than we'd hope.
Oh, really?
I think so.
When are you thinking?
Well, I think if you look at they've really pretty much they've got the schedule out for 2022 and 2023 pretty much. I would say even after the next Avengers movie.
Really? So you're going to go pushing further than that?
I think the next Avengers movie will end with the introduction of mutants somehow.
All right. And Aaron, X-Men and Mutants will finally show up in Marvel's MCU.
Never. I think they're going to keep pushing it and keep pushing it and keep hinting, and I just don't think it's ever going to come to fruition. I think they're finally going to be like, oh, yeah, we never got around to that. My bad.
Yeah, and everybody will just let that go.
Yeah.
Nobody will mind.
Maybe there are no
So
mutants.
Aaron means the X, like Xing it out.
Yeah, X-Men.
Right.
Now.
All right.
Ixnay.
Okay, guys, with that all
Wait,
down.
what was yours, John?
Oh, what was mine? Oh, I said 2023.
Oh, 2020.
I started, but you know what? Here's the thing. You sing later than we thought, like after, right? Phase 5. The one thing that kind of backs that up, and what you were saying too, Rob, is that we have heard Kevin Feige already talking Fantastic Four. He talked about it last year at the Disney Investors Call meeting, right? He said they're coming. We've got the Fantastic Four coming, and that could suggest that maybe X-Men gets pushed off even more because we got that coming from. I'm still sticking with 2023 though.
Let's just hope for a proper introduction, not like a cameo in a movie or anything like that. Let's just get a proper introduction to the X-Men.
All right, guys, with that all down, let's now move over and start taking your comments and questions that you guys have been sending in. We're going to start with the ones that you guys have been sending in live over there in the live chat. And we are going to start things off here today with Stefan DeLint Wouters, who writes, so they're going to make a movie studio in space. I'm all for verisimilitude and practical effects, but that's taking things a bit too far. For those of you who may have missed it, of course, we about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, Tom Cruise has got an upcoming movie, and part of it they're actually going to shoot in space. Wow. And they have just announced that they are creating the SEE, or the Space Entertainment something, that's actually going to be attaching to the International Space Station. And it is going to be a low orbit studio and arena, they're calling it, of some sort.
It's not going to be part of the ISS. It's going to be part of this new civilian launched station.
Yes, which is connected itself to the ISS.
It is?
It will detach from the ISS. It's going to attach in 2024, and then it will detach in 2028. Yes. Anyway, Rob, I mean, listen, what do you think about this whole thing?
Look, here's a. It's going to be when you're around something bright in space, you don't necessarily get the best star fields. It's not like space in movies does not look like space in reality. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to work. There'll be great zero gravity. You won't have to simulate that.
Yeah,
but
that'll kind of neat.
I can't even imagine. What do you think the insurance on something like that is? And what are the SAG rates? Is SAG going to have anything added to their health and benefits?
Well, knowing my union, we're going to fuck it up pretty bad.
I mean, I want to see those riders, the insurance riders, and what SAG
All I have to
says.
say is my per diem better be more than $60 a day, and they
Can you
better provide
imagine?
transportation.
And what about
They're
your
going to be like,
trailer?
we're going to make you a local hire. We'll give you $7,500 to relocate to the moon, and then you're on your own. We're not going to drive you to
By the way,
set.
can I throw in here,
And what
just
kind of
as a
perks?
SAG member, I just want to say congratulations for you. Congratulations to SAGs. The government has just did a little bit of an investigation, and they cleared the way. Fran Drescher is now the head of SAG. So congratulations to SAG for Fran Drescher being the new president
Yes.
of SAG.
Fran Drescher, someone who has no experience in any SAG leadership whatsoever. And also congratulations to the members of SAG who did not get Sean Astin, who not only is a legacy SAG board member, but has also given so much of his life to our union, who our vice presidential board voted down. Yeah, we've got some problems over at SAG. So if you are interested in getting involved in leadership with SAG and you are a member, please contact me, because we need people who are actually paying attention and know what the hell is going on to be running our union.
Wait,
I like
no.
Jolie Fisher.
Jolie Fisher is killing it.
She's great.
But wait a minute. Wait a second. You have to understand this is coming from a Canadian. So are you telling me that Americans will vote people into some form of office who have no experience in that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
can't
It's
believe
almost
that.
as if someone
can't
could be
believe that.
voted into the highest position in our union without ever even having a position in any of the lower stations to understand how the system works. And then all of a sudden they get to be the leader, and then Fran Drescher gets to run around saying, I'm in charge and I'm making all these decisions, even though I have no idea about the history of how our union runs.
Are you saying make SAG great again?
Oh, never mind.
Anyway,
We're
moving on.
cutting it off right there. Next up, Cutter Hale writes, are you watching the UFC Saturday night? Oh, you're damn right I am. If so, who are you taking? I'm actually going Gagne. I'm thinking Gagne walks away with the heavyweight title. Also, if it was you, would you go watch the first at a movie theater or what? Oh, would you go watch the first at a movie theater, B-dubs? I can't decide where to go. I don't know.
Would you go watch
fight.
it? Would you go
The
watch
fight?
it first at a movie theater?
Oh,
or
if you're
would-
talking about the fights?
Yeah.
Oh, I like the idea of watching football because, AMC theaters will show some football games on Sunday.
On those screens.
I think I like a sports bar for fights.
Yeah.
I like the sports bar atmosphere more. So it would probably be B-dubs over a movie theater because I just like the atmosphere of that. All right, Cutter Hale also writes, also, please stop talking crap about my Cowboys. I'm not saying anything about the Pats, and they didn't even score. At least we got a couple of touchdowns. Oh, no. The Patriots totally crapped the bed. Make no mistake, the Patriots didn't even realize they were supposed to show up and play a football game when they got totally their ass beaten by the Buffalo Bills. I mean, no doubt. But everybody kind of picked that they would lose that game, all right? I mean, hey, last year they didn't make the playoffs. They've gotten better. They've shown improvement. But the Cowboys?
John,
The Cowboys are what they've always been. Yes.
I watched this thing like a little clip, and Stephen A. did this one thing where it was like the 5 best pictures of Cowboy fans from that game.
Oh my God!
And he did a top 5, and I was like, man, someone who hates the Cowboys more than
Stephen A.
I didn't know that.
hates the Cowboys.
He was laughing at crying fans, and I was like, man.
It's always a good day when I get to see the Cowboys lose. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely. The Pats totally stunk up the place too, man. All right, so you and I can commiserate. All right, Cam K writes, what am I missing, John? What am I missing? Why does Boba look in the Sarlacc for his armor? He escaped with it on. Please fill me in. I do want to talk about it yesterday because I want to give everybody one more day to watch it. Remember I talked about how one of the things that frustrated, like the jury's still out on the Book of Boba Fett. I've liked a couple of episodes, including 2 and 4. But one of the recurring themes here is they portray Boba Fett as not being particularly intelligent.
Yeah.
He's kind of dumb. For 2 reasons with that Sarlacc pit scene. Number 1, he got out of the Sarlacc pit with his armor. Why on earth would he think his armor was inside the Sarlacc pit? Number 2, he goes, well, here's the infamous Sarlacc that reached out its tentacle, grabbed me, and pulled me down into its gullet. I'm just going to fly the old ship here right over top of its mouth. There's no such thing as sensors apparently in his ship. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get a little closer. And let's get a little closer. And all of us are sitting around. Well, a giant tentacle is going to come out and grab the ship. Everybody knows this is going to happen except for Boba Fett, right? It is frustrating to me that they keep portraying Boba Fett as not being particularly smart. And I don't know what their explanation is for Boba Fett thinking his armor was going to be in the pit. I have no idea why and even if it was in the pit, flying it like that close over top, I don't know. It is frustrating, man. I feel your pain.
Kill it first and then look in the carcass
Drop
later.
the damn seismic charge in it first. It's Beskar. The Beskar will be fine. Yes. Then go down and pull.
This Boba is kind and gentle. He's going to befriend everything and everyone. Right?
That undermines the show, though. And those kinds of decisions bother me.
Anyway, okay. Let's move on here. Let's see here. That was Cam K. Stiff Meister writes, the ending of Peacemaker caught me off guard. Oh, it did too for me. And I thought it was great. And you're right. It did catch me completely off guard.
I'm going to throw this out there because it's just been asked so many times. Are you doing a Peacemaker episode 4 spoiler discussion? And I told them I would ask you.
I want to, but I can't.
Why?
Because we got something we got to do today.
Oh, right.
That you know about.
Yes, I do.
That we're not telling people about right now. I wanted to, well, you know about it. You're coming with me.
I was just trying to add to the mystery.
Add to the drama of it. Yeah, I badly wanted to do a Peacemaker open spoiler
You
discussion
could always
today.
save it and do a combo if episode 5 you like it, then just do both of them together.
Maybe I
You know,
could,
you
but
don't
I
have to
wanted
have-
to. But yes, there was something I'm doing today that is taking me away from the office. So,
We're going to lunch.
well, yes. Well, number one, we're gonna go have lunch, and then some after.
Someone said kiss kiss gangbang, Jonathan.
No,
Hey now.
that one's.
Wow.
I'm never gonna live that one down. I'm never gonna live that one down. All right, Matt writes. Where are we at?
missed
Oh, yeah.
that.
Let's go Niners. It would be the biggest upset of the season by far if they beat Green Bay. I would love to see the Niners beat Green Bay. They ain't beating Green Bay. They're not. I hope they do. I'm going to be cheering for them. Go Jimmy G. But I don't think they're going to beat Green Bay. John Check writes, why wouldn't Bruce Wayne play baseball? He was destined to be a Batman. Not even gonna. Rob does not approve. There's Rob's sad Affleck face. Yeah,
No one knows what it's like.
yeah. No,
Bet.
Terrible.
no drum shot on that one. Okay, let's see here. Rafael Castillo writes, folks, most highly anticipated film is The Batman. The film that has me nearly pulling my hair out in anticipation is Peter Dinklage's Cyrano musical. I'll tell you what, I had heard of the Cyrano musical coming with Peter Dinklage in the lead, but it was just kind of shuffled in the back. And then Aaron and I were at CinemaCon, and they played this full feature of the Cyrano thing, and I'm like,
Well, no, the full featurette. Not,
so
not
like
the full feature.
yeah, not the feature film, but they played they featured it,
An extended trailer.
and oh my god. Oh my! Now, first of all, I love the story of Cyrano de Bergerac in all of its iterations, whether it's Gerard Depardieu or whether it's Steve Martin and Roseanne. I love the classic story.
Roxanne.
What did I say?
Roseanne.
Did I say Roseanne? I thought I
That's
said
okay.
Roxanne.
Roxanne.
You don't have to put on the.
We need to do a musical episode,
we
guys.
have to
We're
at some
there.
point.
We're so there.
Well, we got to do an episode where we open the show doing the Peacemaker dance. At some point, that's got to happen. But, yeah, this thing looks beautiful. Aaron, I remember your reaction to it was like,
Oh
really
my
big,
gosh,
too.
it was. I mean, I had no interest at all. I mean, not that I was disliking it. It was just on the laundry list of things to watch. It wasn't super high on my radar.
Sure.
And then I saw this trailer, and it was so beautiful. I mean, it was a visual feast. The kind of movie that you just you get your eyes get hungry to see more. It was so beautiful, and on an auditory level, the music made me. I started crying watching the trailer. It was so overwhelmingly emotional and beautiful. And
It's been getting a lot of great notices
Yeah.
too.
I mean, I definitely can imagine. I mean, having seen the trailer, and I very rarely will say, "Oh my gosh, I think that this could." I won't say this very often. I think just based on the trailer, I would be shocked if it does not get nominated for Best Picture, because it is just that.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right, next up, we've got Elizabeth Gerardo who writes, wanted to stay up to watch Peacemaker last night, but episode 4 didn't pop up. Does it release at midnight? Yeah, it actually popped up at midnight on the split second for us. At any rate, because me and Ryan were sitting there refreshing at 11:59 and 30 seconds, wasn't there. Midnight and 2 seconds, boom, it was there. So it was, yeah, right there at midnight is when it popped up, at least for us, Elizabeth. All right, Raphael also writes in again, regarding episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, Robert Meyer Burnett likened it unto the Saturday morning kids show Arc 2. I don't remember that one. I likened it unto Jason of Star Command. I also don't know that one
Jason
either.
of Star Command Jason of Star Command was the sequel series to Space Academy, and they're both live action shows. But I think that Jason of Star Command was better than Boba Fett episode 3.
All right, next up, Scotty H writes, the marketing team is having fun with the Batman posters. If you zoom in on the eye with the Batman mask, they put the riddle question mark in the middle of the eye, which we just did. And yes, because I didn't see it at all until we zoomed right in, and very, very faintly, it is right in there, Scotty. You're right. All right, Out of Time, 1985 writes, did you hear that Chukwudi Iwuji, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing that, who is in Peacemaker, was cast in Guardians 3? Is he the guy who plays
He's like the main boss.
like Mern or whatever they call
Yeah, the one who he's directing
yeah.
stuff.
I did not.
I
But-
love that actor, by
But
the way.
that makes
Yeah, he's
sense.
great.
great.
I mean, he's working with James Gunn. I mean, he's working with James Gunn in that. Why wouldn't James Gunn want to bring him over to that? I think that sounds great. All right. John Redcorn writes, can we take a moment and just say, where did I miss? Oh, yeah. Can we take a moment and just say how awful the Lakers are right now? I haven't been in this disappointed in something since the rise of Skywalker. I mean, look, the reality is this. They're still about 500. They're about 500. So they're not completely stinking the world out, but they're not living up to their expectation. But their second best guy, because right now it's LeBron James carrying everything. Russell Westbrook has been an absolute bust on this. He's been
not a good fit. We'll just say he's not a good fit.
He's also shooting like 2 for 16 from the field sometimes. He's an absolute bust, and AD isn't there right now. So let's see what happens in the next few, because AD's coming back soon. Let's see what happens after that. All right. Cam K writes, is it a coincidence that the word Ant-Man is literally in the middle of the word Quantum Mania? Also, 3 best Spider-Man movies all have Doc Ock. The 3 best Spider-Man movies? Oh, that's right, because Into the Spider-Verse had Doc Ock. Actually, you're right. The 3 best Spider-Man movies all have, because I agree with you. I think Spider-Man No Way Home is the 3rd best Spider-Man movie. That's got Doc Ock. And then fighting it out for the number 1 spot is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which has Doc Ock, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which has a different version of Doc Ock, Octavia.
That may be
animation isn't real.
that may be the smartest viewer we have.
That's a great comment. They all have Doc Ock. That's actually a great thing. All right. Suthius writes, even Fennec says it's impossible for Tuskens to be killed by street bikers. I don't think the female fighter Tusken and child are dead. I think Boba will find them and find out the Pikes were behind it. Maybe. I'm not going to lie to you. I am totally ready to move on from the Tusken Raider angle story of this. I mean, they wasted 3 episodes to set up one very good moment. When he comes back heartbroken, it kind of sets the new direction for the man. But I am personally ready to move on from that whole angle of the story. I'm ready to move past it. What do you think?
I mean, it doesn't, like, what is the power structure on Tatooine? And I understand the indigenous people's direction, which I kind of like, but I hope, in a way, I do kind of hope they bring it back somehow, because otherwise, why spend all this time with it in the first place? You know, you come back, obviously Boba learned their ways and understood was fighting, don't come back to the Dune Sea, or you leave these people alone. And if there's some kind of lesson to be learned, maybe bring it full circle, but I don't know.
All right. Next up, John Chex writes, Boba Fett isn't even in the Star Wars universe. It's a brand new universe, Star Wars. I still think it's got a shot. I still think it has a shot. I think episodes 2 and 4 were good. So we'll see what they do with the remaining 3 episodes. At a Time writes, have any of you seen the 1990 movie Dick? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, with Kirsten.
That's the one with the poster. Yeah. I thought that movie was great. I always enjoyed it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it was directed by the guy who directed Threesome and The Craft, right?
Oh, I had no idea who directed it.
Isn't it Andrew? What's his name? But I thought Dick was great.
Yeah, that was a charmer. Do you remember watching that one, Aaron?
I did not.
Andrew
see it.
Fleming.
Okay.
Is it Andrew Fleming who directed that?
I'm looking it up. Yeah, Andrew Fleming.
Because Threesome is one of my unsung comedy favorites.
All right. Next up, we got Josie's Reviews writes, Johnny, you say Peacemaker is the best John Cena has been, but how can you judge his performance if he hasn't shown up in the show yet? That's you can't see me. That joke, the John Cena you can't see me joke was never going to get old. All right, Cam K writes, in terms of best versus favorite, couldn't one say Spider-Man 1 is my favorite because first movie I saw with my dad, but Spider-Man 2 is the better film. I mean, now you're talking about external things like that, right? You're talking about external stimuli as opposed to the movie itself. Like, again, to me, and this, we've had this debate, but you know my position on this. If it's your favorite, then to you it's the best, because if you think something else is better, then that would be your favorite. But anyway, that's just kind of my take. A lot of other people have different opinions on that, which is cool. Suthius writes, Multiverse of Madness opens January, February, March, April? Yeah, May 4th. Last episode of Moon Knight. I don't think there's any connection.
No.
I think Disney is showing that they are, at some point, Disney Plus is going to have to show 2 shows at once. Because right now they only have 1 show going at a time. But I do think it is strategic that they want to make sure The show ends, a movie comes out, whatever, but I don't think they're necessarily connected. Brandon Blake writes, pretty heavy episode of Peacemaker. It absolutely was. Gunn always has something to say hidden beneath all the wild and crazy, and that's why his stuff is so great. I agree, because he's like, if you go back to his Trauma days, he was just a shock jock.
Yeah.
That's all he was. He was funny, but he was just a shock jock. As the years progressed, he's become a storyteller, but never abandoning his shock jock origins.
No,
you know what
I mean, for those of you who don't know, James Gunn's also a novelist. And I recommend everyone seek out, if you're a James Gunn fan, his novel, The Toy Collector. I'm not making this up. I have the hardcover first edition of it. Check it out. He's a storyteller.
All right, next up, we got Bobby Harris who writes, Matt Reeves keeps mentioning how the mystery in the Batman will shake Batman to his core. I can't wait to see this play out and how it affects Batman. I mean, we've already had a couple of theories we've been talking about. Like, for instance, I don't know what all of you guys think about this, but like one of the theories out there right now is that we're going to find out Riddler is his brother. That Riddler is actually a Wayne. And that's why Riddler's talking about this, like the secrets and the blah, blah, blah. And we're going to find out he's actually a long lost brother or something like that. What do you like that idea, Aaron?
I love that idea, spilling all the family secrets, because the Wayne parents have been put up on this pedestal.
Yeah.
Like, if only the Wayne parents had survived, he would have had this perfect life. Maybe the Wayne parents were really messed up people. Maybe little Bruce wasn't so happy after all. Maybe they should have been killed.
I mean, but the other big thing about them,
sorry, was that? Sorry, did I go too dark there? My bad.
The fact that we see that, and we've heard that in this movie there's going to be real, very, very, very real and heavy friction between Alfred and Bruce. And if it's a long lost brother thing and Alfred knew all along, that could be it. Rob, you liking the way that's going?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I think that the relationship Bruce had with his parents is the cornerstone of the Batman character. However, again, if it's a great story well told, I'm in.
All right, next up, we've got Maria. Maria Espino writes, one of two. There has been a lot of talk around a 10, 11, and 12 for Star Wars, given George Lucas had an outline for 12 films. Knowing it's not official, can we speculate and think about what would make this fantasy trilogy the best thing Star Wars has seen, in your opinion, while still continuing the story? I don't, to be honest with you. Look, I will forever have a shrine to George Lucas in any home I live in. Now, I don't think you can see it from this shot. You can't. But like one of the very first things I put up in my office when I set it up was the biggest picture I have of George Lucas. The biggest one I have. I've got hanging up on the wall. I will always worship at the altar of George Lucas. Always. But you can say, man, I will always think Charles Barkley is the greatest basketball player, but he can't get on the court today. Charles Barkley can't walk into the NBA today and play. I don't want anything more Star Wars that is George Lucas's. I mean, that's just what the prequels did to me. And then look, if you come from a different point of view where you like the prequels, you're going to feel differently about that than I do. And that's cool. But I honestly, some people say, well, it couldn't be worse than the sequels. Yeah, they were called the prequels. And I'm sorry, we can have this argument all day if you want. The prequels are significantly worse than the sequels were. I mean, The Revenge of the Sith may be better than The Rise of Skywalker. But other than that, so I don't want anything to do. Look, if you're going to do, when they eventually do a 10, 11, and 12, I think it's got to be a brand new story. It's got to be a brand new story set 20 years after the events of whatever. Forget, you told Rey's story, move on. You told Poe's story, move on. It is time for a brand new thing. Let's start expanding the Star Wars universe. And that's what I would like to see, Maria, as a Star Wars fan for a long time. Like the foundation, the house that George built, and now build on top of it and move forward. So that's what I would personally like to see. But that's just me. All right. Next up. Eanton Shark?
Latin shark.
Oh, Latin shark. I thought it was an I. I thought it was a capital I. I'm sorry.
Latin shark. 956.
Shark 956. It's one of these days. Tom needs to be on the show. Hey, listen. I have said I would love Tom to be on the show. For those of you who know, Tom is is Aaron's husband. I would love Tom to be on the show, who's a big geek and a fellow actor and also in King Richard. And I've wanted him to come on the show. So I would love to have, now it's going to be more difficult now that you have little baby Degnan. But I think the three of you can be on the show. I think you can, Tom right sit beside you holding baby Degnan.
We'll stick baby Degnan in the corner and he can have his own opinion about things.
That's
he already
right.
does.
That's right.
He's already a bit of an asshole, I'm going to be honest.
Maybe he meant Tom Brady.
Oh, yeah, Tom Brady.
No, Tom keeps asking if he can be on the
know,
show.
man. I hear those calls.
Yeah.
Let's go.
When I first started doing the show back in 2018, 2019, whenever it was, years ago when I first started doing the show, Tom would get so annoyed. He'd be like, you don't even like Star Wars. You think there's too much sand. Why do you get to be on the show? You're the worst person. You haven't seen any of these movies. Why would John want you on the show? And I go, because I'm really annoying and I won't let John not let me be on the show. I was like, I have no idea, but he keeps asking me. I go, you can be on the show. John would love for you to be on the show. And then, but the problem is Tom gets really, you know what? I think he's a little, I don't know if he'd be able to handle the chat. Because the chat can be pretty fucking brutal. You know, I'm like, you don't like me? That's okay. Whereas Tom would be like, whoa. You know, I mean, he's a big guy, but, you know, he's got a sensitive heart, you know?
All right. Let's move on here. Next up, we got Anime 38 writes, Aaron, happy to have you back, but I got a big question. Why was All Rise moved to OWN from ABC, and when are we going to see your cop characters revenge? I mean, I didn't even realize they moved that show.
I didn't realize
you were on the pilot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I did 2 episodes of the show. I came in as a guest star. They brought my character back for another episode. I didn't realize that they had moved over to OWN. I honestly thought the show was just canceled. I'm glad to see that it has another life. I do know that the showrunner was removed because of some stuff that went on, and you can read about that online if you feel like reading about it. But you know what? All Rise is one of those situations where I really think that I totally shot myself in the foot. It was one of the first big jobs that I got after my cancer treatment. And because my career had been stalled in such a sudden and unexpected way, I was like, oh my God, this is my shot. I got to do great. I got to like get in there and I got to really, you know, do the best job I can. And this is going to be my new series. And like, I really overthought it. And then I got there and I psyched myself up so much that I think I just really shit the bed. I did a terrible job in the pilot. Like they did some wonderful editing, but I'm going to be honest, I did not do good work.
So you didn't rise to the occasion?
Sadly, I did not. I did not. And you know what? And they wrote my character in for one more episode to basically have me assigned to a desk job. So they were like, yeah, this girl isn't going to work. So like I take All Rise as a great lesson for me to go, you know what? When you get an opportunity, it's just that. It's just an opportunity. It's never your shot. You know, you don't know what your shot is. Just go in. Don't be a fucking weirdo. Say your lines, hit your mark, and take your check and go home. But don't try to think that it's because the shot you think is going to be your shot, that's never your shot. It's always the one that you never expect. So just don't be a weirdo. Do your job. And go home.
All right. Next up, we got Elizabeth Gerardo who writes, Bong Joon-ho working with Twilight Boy really excites me. Snowpiercer made me look at Chris Evans in a different light as he used to do rom-com as an actor. And she liked the question so much she put it in there twice. Listen, Chris Evans has shown that he can do a lot of stuff. And yeah, he's a great rom-com guy. But I mean, everything from Snowpiercer, which I'm not as big of a fan of Snowpiercer as a lot of people is. I liked it. But I mean, but it did show a lot of people a different side of Chris Evans. You're absolutely right about that. Anime 38 writes, wait a second. Did I just do that twice? Is this repeating itself? So we've already got that one. And then we got the same one from Elizabeth and that again. Okay. The Batman sends in like a $20 super chat. Thank you, The Batman. Appreciate the support, man. Well, after those posters and my little chat with Warner Brothers, I'd say we're officially locked in on the March 4th. No delay. You know what? Once we heard about a couple things, you know, a couple of weeks back, some things getting delayed and some production being halted, I actually feel pretty confident, barring some unforeseen thing coming out. Again, we've finally, I think we've peaked in California, at least. We've started to see the numbers slowly start to come down. I think the March 4th date's going to be kept. I really do.
I
And
do
you know
too.
what? I
Yeah.
think February 4th, I think Jackass is going to do some pretty good business. Not $70 million business, but I think we're going to see some pretty decent business out of Jackass. And I think that's really just going to solidify that. And I think March 4th. How do you think we're going to March 4th, we're going to see Batman, or do you think it's going to be bumped?
No, I think that we're definitely on the decline of Omicron, and unless Deltacron comes in and makes its
Deltacron.
No, that's actually a thing. It was found in Cyprus. Yeah, there is
And that's what they're calling it, Deltacron?
Yeah, Delta and Omicron basically had a little
baby.
demon baby, and it was found in Cyprus.
I want them to call it Unicron.
Yeah. Well,
Call it Unicron, and then, just make a big Transformer thing out
I'm
of it.
triple vaxxed and I'll get all the boosts I need. I don't give a shit. Boost me until the day I die. I'm good.
I'm right there with you.
All right, next up. We've got Cam K writes, you're more of a film guy and the shows you watch are more directed, but what do you think of Survivor? It has cinematic level edits and cool development of players. I used to work for Russell Hantz. I watched season 1 of Survivor when I was a kid, and then I tried to watch season 2. I'm like, nah, been there, done that. And I ditched it. So I haven't
Nope.
watched Survivor since season 1. Nope, not at all.
I'm telling you, I never watched Survivor. I never did. I was like, I'm not interested in reality television. Let me tell you something. During COVID, Tom got me going back and
Survivor?
On Survivor. And here was the cool thing is I watched season 27 or whatever, and it is absolutely epic storytelling. The way that they, that the characters, intertwine, and the fact that backstabbing is part of the game, and if you want to be honest and upfront, people get mad at you because you're not playing the game right. And then you go back and you watch season 1 and you realize how absolutely messed up it was. They were like, oh, if you want any food that you don't actually stab in the water yourself, you have to earn it. Like, they don't even give you rice. Like, it's crazy. They didn't even feed these people in season 1. I definitely recommend watching a later season and then go back and rewatch season 1, and you realize it's actually pretty. I mean, on the scope of reality television, it's actually pretty fantastic.
I would agree with you. I mean, I was working at NBC back in 2000, and that was one of the first seasons, and I liked it. I was like, this is pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 seasons, and then it just got too busy to. But it's
but you can go back and watch any season, and it'll be really intriguing. What was that show? It was on Life. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry guys, we still have a bunch of questions we got to get through here. Instead of talking about Survivor, by the way, if they really want to make Survivor called Survivor, put them in Antarctica, not on a tropical island. All right, Mighty Tank 1 says, watch the short clip for The Boys animated show. Very different from what I was expecting. Has an Animaniacs feel. I have not seen it. I
haven't either.
I didn't. I'm going to definitely go and look for it. Thanks for putting that on my radar, Mighty Tank. Kai L. Wong writes, so when the pandemic is over, who do you have the money on to make COVID the movie? My bet's on Michael Bay and lead actor Chris Hemsworth. There's going to be 50.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already movies.
Didn't Michael Bay produce a COVID movie?
Yes, he did.
He already did.
Yeah, and there are already tons of movies talking about COVID-23 and COVID, they've already were making them, so there's going to be many of them, dude, lots of them. All right, the Cinemike writes, the Leo Star Wars joke came from we already talked about this the other day, where he said Leo made him watch The Mandalorian. So we talked about that already. Federico Jordan writes, love your show. Thank you so much, Federico. Been watching since AMC. Love to see the gang back. Latest episode of Peacemaker was great. I'm half joking, but the intro is better than half of the season Boba Fett. I'll tell you what, it is the only show on streaming that I don't hit skip intro. It's the only show. And I get Aaron frustrated that, do you really want to? And Aaron, I have it in my head all day, and I've watched the intro every day. I watch the intro at least once every day. I totally
And
do.
he sends it to me once every day, too.
And I send it to Aaron and say, have you done the dance
Watch
yet today?
this!
Cam K writes, there's I think, leaked concept art with Professor X addressing a captive Doctor Strange, and in the trailer, he's wearing the exact same handcuffs. I'm very dubious about any of that. Anish writes, hello, John and friends. Sam Esmail will be directing a movie for Netflix very soon. I was wondering what you guys thought of his show, Mr. Robot. I never did watch Mr. Robot. Did you not? Were you the one?
Tom was on Mr. Robot, and you know what? Sam.
How do I know? Why do you guys never tell me what shows and movies you're in? How do I have to find out about it like this?
We work, you know what? Google me.
Oh, snap.
No, I will say this. You know
Tom was
what?
on Mr.
Ever heard of it, John?
And here's what makes me so mad. I'm eating my oatmeal. Here's what is so annoying. Tom was on Mr. Robot, and the first thing that happened is Sam walked up to Tom and he goes, Mr. Aaron Cummings, what's up? And Tom was like, what? Yeah, because back in the day, in the early days of Little Aaron Cummings and Little Sam Esmail, I used to do Sam's student films at AFI.
Really?
He was over at the house Sam and I were buddies. I was always doing his student films for no money, doing my own makeup in my rearview mirror in my car, opening my trunk for my wardrobe. And I'm like, hey, dude, cool. I did your student films way back in the day. Now I'm a legit working actor. You got your own show. Give me a fucking part. Who does he cast? My husband.
Well, that's kind of adjacent to you.
Yeah, that's Aaron
I
adjacent.
appreciate the adjacentness. But I'm like, Sam, what's up?
Help a sister out.
Help
Come
us
on now.
sister out.
All
you
right.
know?
Next up, we got Ben Rayner who writes, prison scene in episode 4 or flex the wrong muscle scene. Hey, listen, the flex, I will never in my life will I forget the flex the wrong muscle scene. For those of you guys who don't know, in Doom Patrol, they come across a character who's recurred a couple of times. And I forget the guys in the live chat. I forget the character's name, but he's this big buff guy. And he basically, his power is by flexing different muscles in his body, he can make certain things happen. Like he
Flex Metallo, right?
What's that?
Flex Metallo.
Flex Metallo. That's his name. Thank you. So if he flexes his quad muscle, he'll create a sonic blast. If he flexes something, he can make somebody fall asleep. So they're trying to get into this other dimension thing, right? And they got Flex Metallo there. He's like, all right, give me a second. He's like, he starts to flex, right? And they're in the middle of a city. They're in like a town square. And the 75 people walking around and the 6 main core characters standing there all start to orgasm.
Oh, right.
This prolonged 2-minute scene of everybody starting to have an orgasm. And it ends with the line, I think I flexed the wrong muscle. It's one of the funniest, best scenes I've ever seen. So I will still have that one above the prison scene in Peacemaker episode 4. It's right up there, but I mean, I'm still going to give it to I flexed the wrong muscle. All right. Josie Reviews writes, are we having pre-games for Peacemaker or just open spoiler because I'm loving the show? Well, we still have 4 episodes to go. I think we are going to, starting next week, we are going to pre-game and post-game Peacemaker. It's time to pre-game this thing. We haven't done a pre-game in a while. I think we're going to pre-game it, and that's what we're going to move it forward. Thanks for asking, Josie. Gary Buck writes, don't sleep on Uncharted. I have a teen daughter, and her flock of friends are madly in love with Tom Holland. This film could have wide appeal. Listen, I have never slept on Uncharted. I think the casting is great. I think the trailers have been a lot of fun. I think this movie's going to be really good. How well will it do? I don't know. I'm guessing in the $50 million range.
It has to be good.
I mean, I hope so. What do you think it's going to open with?
Again, I mean, it's hard for me to say if the movie's good and gets good notices, because I have to say that last trailer, I was like, oh.
With the 2 flying pirate ships?
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
I saw that. I'm like, okay. I saw that. I'm like in, because I've been a little iffy. I think it could do more than 50, but to hear somebody say that it has appealed to teen girls, never underestimate the power of the teen girl audience.
Twilight was mostly that was really propelled by teen girls, and interestingly enough, Uncharted
and their moms. The Twilight moms
Forget the
were a
moms.
big thing, man.
Yeah, really creepy thing too. Uncharted was also produced by the same production company, Atlas Entertainment, who did the Suicide Squad.
Oh, I didn't even
I
realize
didn't realize that either.
But I just think it looks like a lot of fun. All right. Next up, John Redcorn writes, when the first Morbius trailer, Venom was filming, and No Way Home was in pre-production, 2 years later, Morbius is still not released while Venom and No Way Home are out. Oh, I know. But listen, we can make jokes about that, whether you're talking about Teen Titans or whatever. Actually, there's a movie opening this weekend that is totally flown under our radars. And it's opening wide. And I bet you guys haven't even heard of it. It's opening wide. Stars Pierce Brosnan. It's called The King's Daughter. Any heard of it? Any 3 of you heard of it?
Don't know it.
Is
King's
Pierce
daughter-
Brosnan the daughter?
No. William Hurt's in it as well.
2 men,
William
no
Hurt.
daughters yet. Who's the daughter?
But if I'm not mistaken, I believe the film was shot in 2016.
What?
Yeah. 2016 or 2014. One of the two. And oh no, it's somebody in the live chat, Marcus Y, saying actually made in 2014. It was made in 2014.
Yes.
And it's coming out now.
Finally.
So you think Morbius is bad? You think Morbius keeps delayed and stuff like that? You think that's bad? It could be much, much worse, my friends. All right, next up. Massive Jada writes, Warner Brothers should project Bat logo into the sky for marketing. Oh, I think probably somebody somewhere's got that idea. Massive. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Casey Mack writes, John, have you decided if you are going to do a spoiler discussion for episode 4? Again, I wanted to today, but unfortunately, I have something I need to do that I can't talk about yet after the show is done and after we have lunch. So I wanted to, but I can't. But next week, we're going to start pre-gaming Peacemaker and post-gaming Peacemaker. All right, Kevin Cow writes, episode 4 had depth. The prison and car ride convo is fire. That's true. The car ride conversation was great. There was this, and you know what? The depth, if it wasn't for the wackiness of the first few episodes, the depth of this episode wouldn't have had the same impact. It's all building on each other. You're absolutely right. Andy writes, 1 of 2, John Cena is so damn good at promoting his projects out there. Every interview he gets for Peacemaker, he always dresses as the character in full-blown costume. I have never seen anything like it, and I swear he is clearly so in love and passionate for that character and the work he does on it. Listen, I'll tell you what. I remember the red carpet premiere for Suicide Squad. Cena showed up in costume. He showed up in costume on the red carpet. Whether it's the bathroom banging scene or just singing into a dildo while dancing in his tighty whities.
A massager.
Listen, if you're going in, massager, of course. What am I saying?
It's only a massager.
If you're going into movies and you don't yet have high level acting skills yet, you got to be willing to be fearless. And Cena, I just feel like Cena is the guy who he won't say no to anything. I feel like these guys could go to Cena and say, we want you to try this. He'll just go, hey, whatever, man. You're the directors. You're the writers. I am your whatever the thing is.
Putty in your hand.
I am putty in your hand.
He comes out of that wrestling world, though, the showmanship that he understands and brings. He also went on the talk show circuit dressed as Peacemaker. And I think, he had already made the show, too. So he knew where his character was going to go. And I think that part of that has really helped this particular show, even in the wake of the movie not performing as well as they'd hoped.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'd be really curious. And if you have a chance to interview him, I would love for you to ask him this. What is the bar that is required? Because when you say that he'll do anything, everybody has the thing. I'll do anything as long as it blank. I'll do anything as long as they pay me. I'll do anything as long as it challenges me. And for what he does, it seems like he says, I'll do anything as long as it's fun. Because whether we're talking about like we were talking about yesterday, how he hosted Wipeout, the reality water sports show, or he's doing Make-A-Wish visits to children and making them smile and giving them some joy during a challenging time in their life, or if he's getting to play Peacemaker and run around in his tighty whities talking about how big his dick is. Whatever it is, all of those things he seems to find joy in. And he's like, you know what? Maybe somebody else wouldn't do it because they might think that they're too cool for school. But for me, it's fun. It's fun for me to put on that costume and to go do an interview. So fuck it, I'm going to do it. So he seems, I'm really curious if fun is his bar for what he chooses to do something.
And
That's
I'm
a really
curious,
interesting question.
Let me ask, okay, Google, how old is John Cena?
John Cena is 44 years old.
So he's 44.
That's my age.
Another thing is he wants to, a lot of these popular wrestlers, there's nothing after wrestling. He's making sure that he's still relevant and he still has a career after, which is a smart move. Because from what I know, from what I've seen, a lot of wrestlers, they blow their money.
They're like basketball players.
Because of the job or whatever. And they expect to get that income afterwards just off of their name. But a lot of them got to make sure that they have something
When
afterwards.
you saw what happened to Jake Roberts, like Jake the Snake after and everything, like he was like how he was living. It's but
very few of them even get to a point where they're making decent money, much less a lot of money. And there's at least in the NFL, they have classes on money management of how not to go broke after you retire.
Because so many of them were after that.
And the last thing a wrestler wants to do is go back to wrestling to get money.
Yeah.
You know, John Cena doesn't want to do that anymore. He shouldn't. His body will get old. I mean, he could still do it now, but he doesn't want to do that. He's doing fine. I'm sure he's going to do fine in the future. He's great.
But I just think also at 44, like he's understanding that, you know, I am popping a little late, right? And so I've got a period of time here if I want to do certain things to do it.
Right.
And he is taking full advantage of it. And good on him. Good on him. All right. Next up. Sean O'Connor writes, I want to see a Deadpool / Peacemaker crossover. I want to see Deadpool / Vigilante crossover. I will watch a movie of Deadpool and Vigilante just sitting in a McDonald's talking over McNuggets for 90 minutes.
Vigilante did remind me a lot of Deadpool.
Wait till you see episode 4.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? And what I loved also is when we first meet Vigilante, when he's in the window and Peacemaker is crying on the bed, and then he's like, "Oh, you're gonna turn around, you're showing me your dick, and I don't want to see your dick." Just that banter, the fact that we don't even see his face. And we see the connection that these two have. We see the history that these two have. We see the reason why they get along. And then seeing them going out into the woods and shooting up appliances. Like, the fact that so much emotion and friendship and history can be conveyed without ever seeing his face is kind of fantastic.
Yeah, they do a great job with it. All right, next up. Andy writes, did Star Trek's first interracial kiss negatively rile some people up back then, similarly to how a gay couple on TV and movies does in the past 10 years? Well, I mean, obviously, I wasn't around when that happened, but I mean, I've read stuff that said, yeah, the network's got a lot of letters and emails when Kirk kissed her.
Look at Betty White's talk show when she had a black performer on her talk show. She got canceled. The show got canceled immediately.
Yeah, no, it did happen. A lot of people were not happy. But again, what Star Trek was able to get away with, because it was a fantasy science fiction action adventure show, it wasn't real. You could push the boundaries, and Star Trek frequently did that. Like, you could talk about the Vietnam War, and there's a second season episode called A Private Little War that directly addresses what was going on, but because they couch it with the Federation and the Klingons, it got past standards and practices.
All right, next up, we've got Zach Bartron, I should say, writes, today is David Lynch's birthday. I didn't know that. Happy birthday, I believe, to good Canadian kid David Lynch. Did you all remember to leave a bowl of quinoa, a slice of pie, and a black coffee, and a pack of cigarettes next to a chair and a red curtain for him last night? Is that a reference to
Twin Peaks?
Twin Peaks. I'm one of the few people I know who never got into Twin Peaks.
I never got into it either.
So I never did. But
I will do some transcendental meditation today in his honor.
In his honor. Happy birthday to David Lynch. Thanks for bringing that up, Zach. Appreciate that, man. Guillaume Lebel writes, I was half expecting the Benny Hill theme when Boba was chasing the little robot in the kitchen. Looked so silly. Episode 4 was good, but still not great. Listen, that scene was horrible.
It was horrible.
And he's got this little run. So first of all, when Boba Fett says, I am Boba Fett, that should be powerful. That should be, and it has been in this series. But he's holding this little stupid robot. I am Boba Fett. Like, come on.
And
really?
He's chasing him through the kitchen.
It was a good episode otherwise.
I mean, Boba Fett would do something like throw a knife across the room and take that thing's head off. I mean,
yeah, the very fact that he was like lumbering, oh, I'm knocking over all the kitchen. Come on. Anyway. All right, next up. Wiley Todd writes, John, I need the Batman in my life. So excited, not topping Top Gun 2, but holy crap, bring on the rain. I am so excited for it. But listen, guys, I'm telling you, I said for ever since Comic-Con 2019 or 18, yeah, it was 2019, when Tom Cruise came out and said, we're going to show you the first trailer for Top Gun 2. Yay. And I said, nobody was going to care. No one's going to care. This is way too late. And then they showed us like 15 minutes.
And the tears fall.
Well, first, it starts before anything
It was like
else.
the Lion King opening. I was like, oh my God, my child.
Black screen, start to see sunrise over an ocean, and just that gong. Boom.
Oh God, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it.
Bong. And like, oh my, and you were right back. I wasn't
I
expecting
have
that.
goosebumps just
Yeah.
from you saying that. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional.
And it's like, oh my God, I'm right back there again. And then they showed us like the first 15 minutes of the movie.
I mean, we see the jacket hanging up and he gets the jacket off the hanger and you're like, he's going to put the jacket on.
And
oh my God.
he was still Maverick.
Yeah.
And the 15 minutes ended and I'm like, no. No. Why can't you do what you did with Ghostbusters? You show us the whole damn
Right,
thing.
exactly.
Honestly, I've had to do a complete 360 on Top Gun 2. 180. Well, yeah, you're right. 180. I've had
And
to
those
do a complete
flying sequences, dude, like nothing ever filmed before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm telling you, I am so damning. I mean, the Batman is still my number one, but Top Gun 2, be excited, guys. Be excited. All right. Addison writes, the more I hear on Black Panther, the more I feel it would have been easier to just recast, but that's just my opinion looking from the outside as a viewer. Listen, no, it's Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler is one of simply the finest filmmakers in the world today. He will find a way to make this work. He will. But it absolutely would have been they did it with the right intentions. But it would have been far better to still have T'Challa. I mean, a lot of people say, well, they moved on with a new Captain America. Yeah, but that's after having Steve, and they still shouldn't have done that, but they did that after Steve Rogers had played Captain America in like 10 movies, or however many, right? We had just started with T'Challa. And anyway, that's just me. Everybody has different opinions on that, and I respect all of them. I'm just giving you my point of view. That's all. All right. Andy writes, Adrian Chase as Prometheus. Adrian Chase as Prometheus was the main villain in Arrow season 5. I didn't realize that. It's so weird, but awesome seeing him the way he is as Vigilante in Peacemaker. I didn't realize that was the same guy who played Prometheus. I didn't realize that.
I didn't either.
But also somebody else pointed out that the same guy as a child actor was also in some big movie, and I can't remember what that was either right now. Lucifer Pitch Black writes, in just a $10 super chat to be supportive. Thank you, Lucifer Pitch Black. I appreciate that, man. John Check writes, I would make another DC joke, but that would be Robin Batman of his dignity. And one lone laugh in the office.
Wait, say it one more time.
I would make another DC joke, but that would be Robin Batman of his dignity.
That's so funny.
And
It's
we
not
move
terrible,
on.
though. It's not a
And
terrible
we
joke.
Move on. Kalob Lawrence writes, I think the old man neighbor in Peacemaker is Batmite. He's just too much of a Batman fanboy. All I'll tell you is this. One of the great things about you go to any James Gunn property, what you think are little inconsequential side characters are always amazing. The little inconsequential side characters are always amazing, and I love the old man. I'm just trying to make conversation.
I only watched episode 1, and I just like the way the guy says "F you."
Oh yeah,
it's just funny. It's just so normal to him, and
It's like normal, man.
It's great. Every little character is great in these things. All right, Guillaume LaBelle writes, Twilight Boy. Yep, Maurice Seifring, Noah G, and B-Boy Bronze 1 all just send in super chats to be
B-Boy.
supportive. Thank you so much, guys, for that. I appreciate that very much. Elizabeth Gerardo writes, Bong Joon-ho working with Twilight Boy really excites me. So, what is it? Elizabeth put that one again. Maybe it's just kind of re-upping it there. Anime38 writes, Aaron, happy to have you back, but I got a big question. Oh, no, that one's repeated itself a couple of times. So anyway, that'll wrap up all of the live questions that you guys have sent in. Okay, guys, here's what's going to happen now. We're going to take a little bit of a short break here. Give us 2-3 minutes. We're going to stretch our legs, refill our drinks, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to come right back and get into the tip questions that you guys have sent in. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back. All right, everybody, and we are back. For whatever reason, our Be Right Back screen wasn't working properly. I'm sorry about that, guys, but we are back, and we're so glad that you guys are still sticking around. Thank you for your patience and indulgence as we took a little bit of a break there. And now we're going to go into the tip questions that you guys have sent in. So, Aaron, you got them lined up there and ready to go?
Yes, I do.
All right, but I'm going to give you a second because you're still chewing on your snack.
Sorry, we're jumping right back in.
All right, let's pick up. What do we got here first?
Okay, the new viewer questions that were just sent in last night. We're going to go all the way down to page 22 and start at the top. We have Jolcy81 says, unpopular opinion, Django is the better Fett.
So far, he absolutely is. I mean, not if you'd asked me after Mandalorian Season 2, then Boba is definitely the better Fett. Now, I'm not so sure. All right, what's next?
So Joseph Michael tipped $7 and says, while Encanto has become a viral sensation since hitting Disney+, I find it curious that Vivo, another animated musical with Lin-Manuel Miranda songs, did not quite get the same attention when it premiered exclusively on Netflix this past summer. That is one of three. Hold on. Originally produced by Sony Pictures Animation, Vivo had some good Lin-Manuel songs and a decent heartwarming story, though the film was certainly not as complex as Encanto. The film also has an 86% Rotten Tomatoes score. Is it possible that the theatrical release of Encanto worked in its favor? Would Vivo have gotten more or equal attention if it had been released in theaters first by Sony before hitting Netflix?
Movies will always get more attention and more gravitas and seem more important and seem more legit if it gets a theatrical release.
100%.
It just is, right? I mean, I don't know why people still confuse that.
I
mean,
agree with you
absolutely
100%. By the way, something on Netflix, I still don't even know Vivo's there.
Yeah, I'm still not even sure what it is. But yes, had it played in theaters and had it gotten like a marketing push and all that kind of stuff, it would have done much better on Netflix. See, that's the thing that people always, like between this, it's either streaming or it's theaters. No. The way they've done it before, and I'm all for change, but the way they've done it before, a movie will do better on streaming if it gets an exclusive theatrical release first. Now Encanto didn't get an exclusive theatrical release. I don't believe. I think it was day and date. But it's just the very fact that it even got theatrical helped it. And if it had gotten an exclusive theatrical release, it would have helped it even more on Disney Plus afterwards. But that's just kind of my take. All right, what's next?
Spider-Man fan says, hey, John, for me personally, No Way Home not only closed a great trilogy of movies, it also gave great closure to all three Spider-Man franchises, Raimi, Webb, and Watts. And it did amazingly so well, and it was amazingly so well done. That's why, for me, No Way Home is the best MCU movie. No Way Home's story was way better than Endgame's, maybe not Infinity War. All the emotional beats hit me hard. I loved this movie, like I said, great closure to all three Spidey franchises. So well done. Might be the second 10 out of 10 comic book movie. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
I'm glad you liked it that much, but I don't like it as much as you. Look, they do a lot of great things. Is this one of the best narratives they've had in the MCU? I wouldn't put it in the top 5, 6, or 7 of the best overall narratives they've done. There's a lot of great fun fan service. It's a wonderful experience of a movie. And one of the things you mentioned there, I think is true. It kind of underhandedly, and I mean this in a good way, wrapped up the Amazing Spider-Man franchise and the Sam Raimi franchise. It really did serve as a function of closing out not just Tom Holland's trilogy, but it kind of closed those ones out as well. Now, do I still think it's like a true, great, magnificent motion picture? No, I mean, I think it's great, but I don't even think it's the best Spider-Man movie in general. But it's really good. It's really fun. And it does do that thing of closing out all 3 franchises. And I think that's a great observation. All right, what's next?
Alan Gonzalez says, dumb observation from me, but Disney should have used Yeah, I know. I skipped it for a reason.
Okay.
Dumb observation. You can read it if you want to, but I don't think it's appropriate. Alan Gonzalez says, dumb observation from me, but Disney should have used The Rock as Thanos. They would have saved a ton in CGI. Just paint him purple and there you go. LOL.
Yeah,
just kidding.
not quite as big. And by the way, one of the other things in Book of Boba Fett, another kind of long-standing debate that comes up, because there are a lot of people who think they sound cool by saying practical effects are always better than CGI. No, they're not. The Bantha proves that. Like if you look at Mandalorian or Boba Fett episode 4, like, I'm sorry, that was so clearly just a big puppet that moved very awkwardly. And I'm not talking about as it's walking. I mean, when he's close up with it and the way the tongue moved, like it was so like distractingly obvious that it was a big, heavy practical effect that they were just trying their best to move around. That's another, I personally, Rob, I don't know how you feel about it. I think this is a place where CGI could have been used pretty well.
Yeah, it's all about how they're employed.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, and you look at a movie like, I even go back to Starship Troopers, which was 97. Starship Troopers was a great combination of model effects work and practical effects. Those creatures were both practical and CG, and they worked beautifully. It's all about the design and the implementation of the effects.
All right, what's next?
Alan Gonzalez also writes in and says, hi, John, there's a report going around that Daniel Radcliffe is going to play Weird Al in a biopic. What do you think of this? I know you usually don't care about this topic, but I think it's kind of cool. Have a nice day.
Oh, well, I always care about Weird Al. And we actually made that as one of our main topics on the show yesterday. I highly encourage you to go back and check it out. I'm all in. The only thing that's a little bit weird to me is Weird Al is so tall and Daniel Radcliffe is not, but maybe that's going to be part of the gag. But I'm excited to see where they're going to go with this. All right.
Shay says, although I'm elated at us getting Krasinski as Reed Richards, I'm hearing that we are finally getting Charlize Theron in the MCU as well. Clea would have liked to see her in a more physical role where she's busting heads, but I'll take what I can get.
I mean, listen, first of all, we need to take the John Krasinski thing with a giant grain of salt. I mean, it's coming from a source that has got some things right, has got several things very wrong. So, and everybody's been wanting to see John Krasinski. That may or may not be true, okay? Then, in the battle to one-up Scoop, some other place started reporting, oh, Charlize Theron is going to be in it as well. And again, we don't even know if that's true. If she is, it does raise a couple of interesting questions. One, maybe she's a Sue Storm. If John Krasinski is that, but of course everybody wants Emily Blunt to be Sue Storm. If John Krasinski is going to be Reed, whatever. Clea's interesting. That's a love interest for Doctor Strange. I mean, that could be interesting. But again, I doubt that is true. I mean, anything's possible, but I doubt it's true. Rob, what do you think about Charlize Theron maybe being a Clea?
Again, she's an Academy Award-winning actress. If she's going to be in the MCU, they're going to say, guess who we have in our movie? They're going to be Academy Award-winning Charlize Theron, just like Academy Award-winning Angelina Jolie or Academy Award-winning whomever.
She's not going to be an afterthought.
No, it's going to be a big deal.
All right, what's next?
Julia says, new fan of the show. What do you think of the recent photo from Twitter of Tom Cruise in mocap? Rumors are that he's playing Iron Man in
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness. Is this the other photo that you and Rob were talking about before No Way Home was released?
No, and by the way, there have been a couple things, like somebody put out this picture. It's literally of Hugh Jackman on the street. And like this kind of, somebody took a snapshot of him from behind. There's no context to it or everything. And somebody just slapped on it Hugh Jackman on set of Multiverse of Madness. It's like somebody just took any random picture of Hugh Jackman and slapped that on it. And all of a sudden everybody started buying it. And again, look, the kitchen sink is open. Anything can happen in Multiverse of Madness. Anything. But I saw that picture. Number one, I'm not even 100% sure that was Tom Cruise. Number two, if it was Tom Cruise, it doesn't look the way Tom Cruise looks today. And number 3, if it is Tom Cruise in a mocap suit, it could have been for anything. So I'm not ready to talk about it as a story at this point. I mean, it could be something, but if it is, we'll talk about it later. Rob, what did you think of it?
Again, look, after he played Les Grossman, I think Tom Cruise is pretty much up for anything. And they talked about him being the original Iron Man back when they were going to first do an Iron Man movie. Which
almost nobody knows about other than the hardcore geeks.
Yeah, I mean, and yet, I mean, with all the variants and what ifs and Spider-Man No Way Homes, I know for a fact there's more cameos than we can possibly shake a stick at, but I don't necessarily think anything is definitive at this point. There's no reason to say, I mean, I might as well say my 82-year-old mother has a cameo in Multiverse of Madness, because why not?
Sweet.
I know, right?
That would be awesome.
She's never acted before, but they decided to make the Golf Queen a new person.
All right, what's
Just saying says, kind of want to start that show Yellowstone, but if I wanted to watch a bunch of cowboys get knocked out, I'd just watch the playoffs.
Okay. Winner.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Winner. By the way, if you're not watching Yellowstone, watch Yellowstone. I finally watched 1883. It's very good.
My mother is obsessed with Yellowstone.
So
and she
my
was
mom.
so excited to see that Dave Annable came back from the dead for a flashback, which I was too.
It is
good for Dave.
It's so good. The show is so good. 1883, I don't think is as good as Yellowstone, but I mean, it's a very different kind of show. It's the Oregon Trail kind of a show, and
but it's got my heartthrob, Sam.
Oh, I mean, Sam. You know what's funny? Because I watched the final episode that is out that they've got so far. I've watched the most updated episode of 1883, and then last night, Ann and I just popped on Netflix Roulette and watched an episode of Parks and Rec, and Sam Elliott was one of the episodes with Sam Elliott, who plays Ron 2 in Parks and Rec.
Has he aged in 50 years?
No, he has always been 85 years old. And I told Tom straight up, I go, here's the deal. I said, if I ever am on location with Sam Elliott, I'm going to cheat on you. Like, period. He is my hall pass, is Sam Elliott. It's something about the voice, the mustache, the like tall, gangly. Like I told Tom, I go,
you give that poor man a heart attack.
When I doubt it. I don't think so.
I think he'd
I
give
don't
me
think
a heart
anything
attack.
can give that man a heart
Yeah,
attack.
I think
When did Roadhouse come out?
Oh, like 1990, something like that.
Still looks.
he
like
looks exactly the
Roadhouse.
same. Exactly. I know, totally.
I mean, The Big Lebowski.
Oh God,
You know?
he's just. Oh, he's amazing.
You go all
Family Guy.
It was Mask, right? It was it
Yeah.
Mask? That
With
was
Cher.
Cher?
Yeah.
That was in the 80s.
He was in the 80s. He looks exactly the
Sam
same.
Elliott. It's unbelievable.
All right, Anonymous says, the next time anyone wants to see the 355, just make sure to bring along Tylenol because the action scenes are full of shitty, shaky cams. Otherwise, skip this movie, even though Chastain is in it.
Yeah, I'm hearing mixed. I mean, a lot of the critic friends I know, including people who know my taste pretty well, saying, John, you wouldn't like this movie at all. But I've also talked to some people who says it's better than the credit it's getting. They're saying it deserves more credit than it's getting. But I have also heard that the action, maybe not as bad as Snake Eyes, but I've heard the action is pretty, and almost nothing frustrates me in movies more than shaky cam and action scenes. All right, what's next?
Scott Brown says, I saw Scream and it was just okay. It has the exact same formula as all the other ones, so I don't get the rave reviews. I mean, there was nothing different or surprising or special. Some reviews even called it terrifying, which I found laughable. It's satire.
It's not a scary movie. It's not scary in the least. I mean, there's some good kills and whatever, but it always leans more towards the fun. Again, there's some absolutely unforgivable logic flops in this movie, but I like it. I mean, I like this script. I haven't said that since the first one, but I would, in no reality, would I say this movie is scary.
Right.
Like, in the least. Did you get a chance to see it yet, Rob?
Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
But I will. I mean,
like, Ray, you saw it with me. Did you, like, you liked it too. You like Scream.
Oh yeah.
But did you ever find it scary?
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
that's the thing. I wouldn't call it that. So I'm with you on that one, man. All right. What's
Casey
next?
McNatt says, gotta say, Daniel Radcliffe has been in a few movies not named Harry Potter that I have really liked. One was Swiss Army Man, and the other one was Guns Akimbo. Thank you, Guns Akimbo. Will be interesting to see what he brings to Weird Al.
He has been doing not as successfully, but he's been kind of doing the Robert Pattinson thing.
Yes, he has.
Where Radcliffe, I mean, only the stigma, I would say this, the stigma on Radcliffe, as only if seen as Harry Potter, is heavier than whatever stigma Robert Pattinson had as
sure.
Twilight Boy. I mean, yeah, he was Twilight Boy, but I mean, he's Harry. he will always just be Harry Potter to everybody.
Yeah.
But he's been taking that same strategy. He's done some very interesting, smaller indie kind of things. He
That
also
are
did this-
completely away, like outside
Yes.
the box, and show people that he has a bit of a cheeky sense of humor.
and
you
he
know?
also did this one called Horns. Remember that one?
Oh yeah, Horns is based on a Joe King novel.
That he was very, very good in.
Really
And didn't he
good
do
at that.
Equus on Broadway?
Oh, he did. I know he's
Is that
doing
with
something
the
where
horse?
he did full
I think he did.
nudity.
Wait,
He did
huh?
full nudity.
That's Equus.
Is that
Yeah.
the one he did? And then he did that Ricky Gervais show.
Extras?
Extras.
Oh,
where
wow.
he shows up, where he like was totally hilarious in that. I would love to see him break out.
Yeah.
And be seen for more than that, because he hasn't been as successful as Robert Pattinson has it, but he's taking the same strategy, which is interesting. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, "Hi, John, Aaron, and Ray, and Rob. Long-term listener, love the show. Thank you. In 3 weeks, I begin work on a film project,
Nice.
an adaptation of the classic Robin Hood tale. I can't believe it's actually happening. Keep up the great work, guys, and bring on the filthy."
One of the
Congrats.
most fun things, I think we'll all agree, like I've been doing this for a long time, like going back to the movie blog days or whatever. One of the most personally satisfying and fun things for me to hear is when, and we've heard it a number of times, people writing saying, "Hey man, I've been watching the show or watching you, whatever, for 10 years or 8 years, whatever, when I had a dream of getting into movies, and I'm going next week to be on set to be in my first movie.
Awesome.
Or the first screenplay I've ever had optioned just got optioned. Or, I'm a makeup artist and I'm going into work on my first movie in a couple of weeks." Like, to me, that is so odd. I feel like I've been a part of that journey. Like,
Yeah.
I love hearing that stuff. So congratulations to you for that, Anonymous.
Jed Elias says, "Hey, John, was listening to the podcast version of your show on Monday and heard Rob talking about his thoughts on Belle. If you're on the fence about seeing it, listen to the soundtrack. It's incredible, as is the movie, and I rarely watch anime films."
Rob, I have heard from so many
I
people
know.
that this is great. I still haven't looked at the trailer myself, but I know I was even talking to Ann about it last night, that this is one we probably got to put on our radar.
Dude, I looked up. I was going to go see it the other day, and I was like, IMAX. It said this is not playing within 50 miles of you.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I
Not
was very
surprised.
sad. by
We'll have to
it.
just get
I'll get the 4K disc.
as soon as it becomes available, I'll have to check it out. All right.
Yeah, it says, "Props to Sony's marketing by not confirming Toby and Andrew's involvement. They kept No Way Home in the conversation for months. The small chance that they might not be in it also made for a better theater experience. I think this played a major role in the $1.6 billion."
I appreciate your opinion on that, yes, but I disagree. I honestly think, they made a choice of one thing over another, and I respect that choice. But had they put out 3 weeks before the movie came out a third trailer showing Andrew and Toby, even though it did incredible opening weekend numbers, it would have been bigger. I think it would have been even bigger.
I agree with you, man. We
and-
talked about that on the show.
Yeah, we did talk about it on the show. So listen, they did a great job marketing the movie. They spent a lot of money on that marketing campaign, and they did a great job with it. But I'm just telling you, it wouldn't have made a lot of money. It would have made all the money for that opening weekend. It just would have been crazy. But that's my take on
The
it. But again,
economies of the world collapse as Sony takes in all of the money.
All the money.
but a great job they did on the marketing nonetheless.
My favorite viewer says, "Jamie Dornan says he was roommates with Andrew Garfield, Robert Pattinson, Charlie Cox, and Eddie Redmayne at the start of their careers. Realistically, there is a universe where Pattinson was in Daredevil, Cox in Spider-Man, Dornan in Fantastic Beasts, Redmayne in 50 Shades, and Garfield in Twilight and Batman."
It's always funny. I remember I heard this story. I think you and I talked about it, Rob. When I first heard the story, because I had no idea about this forever, but going back to the early days of their career, Christopher Reeve and Robin Williams were roommates.
Wow.
At one point. And we're like each other's best friends, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Whenever I hear about stuff like that, it's always amazing. So I've never heard this story about Dornan sharing this story. By the way, if Robert Pattinson is Twilight Boy, Dornan is the dude from 50
Christian
Shades.
Grey.
Yeah.
Watch Belfast. It totally change your thoughts on him. It'll totally change your thoughts on him. Absolutely. All right, what's next?
Duder says, "If he did shoot scenes, any thoughts on who else Krasinski could be playing other than Reed Richards? What about Captain America variant from the multiverse, especially since he auditioned for Cap way back in the day?"
We're talking about questions that are ifs built upon ifs. If he's even in this movie at all, could he be playing somebody other than that? It's possible. See, the one drawback of it, though, is that 99% of the population have no idea that John Krasinski was one of the final 5 people to be selected for Captain America when Chris Evans ultimately got the role. Like, nobody knows that. So it's possible. If he's in it, but not Reed Richards, that's a really good question.
I got one for you.
What do you think?
Over or under 50% Chris Evans comes back playing Captain America?
I'll go over.
Me too.
And I'll tell you why I'll go over on that. Because there was a report in the Hollywood Reporter a number of months ago that we talked about on this series that they were talking with Chris Evans again. This would be, I mean, I just want him back to be back, and he will be back, but this would be a real easy way to have him back in there. I'll go over 50%, not 90, but I'll go over 50.
I agree with you. I think it's almost a certainty.
I won't say almost a certainty, but I'll agree with you on over 50%. All right, what's next?
Terry Wood asks, hey guys, have y'all tried Wolf Like Me on Peacock? It stars Isla Fisher and Josh Gad. It's a horror-tinged dramedy that has a secret. 6 episodes that play well as a 3-hour movie. Fisher and Gad are both very good. Would like to hear your opinions.
Listen, I watch Peacock a lot. I still hate saying the name of the network. I watch Peacock a lot, and they have been marketing this Wolf Like Me. It looks so charming. I want to see this.
Isla Fisher, by the way, wow, I love her.
Ever since Wedding Crashers. I mean, I think that's
I love
everybody
redheads, and she's, Sacha Baron Cohen is a lucky dude. But that movie the show looks amazing. I think it looks great.
Have you guys seen any of the ads for this yet?
No.
Oh, it looks like a lot of fun. So
it looks
like I really Isla Fisher and I love her and I love Josh Gad, and I can only imagine the chemistry that the two of them have together. I think that would be really fun.
It looks like a little bit of a role reversal, but basically boy meets girl, kind of fall in love sort of thing, except turns out she's a werewolf. And she's got the secret. And it looks really good.
So kind of like her character from Wedding Crashers.
So a little bit like Wedding Crashers, but I am actually dying to see this. All right, what's next?
Fanimator says, over the weekend, I showed my friend The Prestige. He lost his mind at the end. It took him a few minutes to process the movie because the twist was so shocking. And this was his second non-Batman Nolan film after Inception. Your thoughts on The Prestige?
You know, the funny thing is, I really like Prestige.
Me too.
Except the ending. The ending has never really worked for me. It's just like, okay, well, that actually seemed a little bit ridiculous. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I won't give away the big rosebud moment of it all, but it involves Hugh Jackman. Honestly, it's just, but other than that, I love the rest of the movie. What do you think about Prestige?
I agree with you. I know it's based on a novel, but the end of the movie is too, call it outlandish.
Yeah,
because it asks you to believe that this specific thing occurs. And I'm like, do I believe that? I don't know. I mean, it's shocking and interesting. I'd be curious. To me, it's a litmus test. What people think of that ending and what people don't.
Yeah, I agree. But again, I think the rest of the movie is, I can watch that.
Performances are great. It's really good.
So Scarlett Johansson is so good in it. Everybody's great in it. All right, what's next?
Ryan Lohner says, I'm guessing the Echo show is legit for one major reason. Remember how much heat Disney took for promising that exclusively gay moment in the live-action Beauty and the Beast, which turned out to be nothing? Now just imagine a public reaction if they promised a show about a Native American deaf amputee superhero and then just said, nah, we were just kidding, suckers. Although maybe we shouldn't put anything past Chapek.
First of all, I mean, Disney never promised that. I mean, the word about that came out, but it was never Disney promising that about the Beauty and the Beast thing. So just put that aside. But that is, to me, because Rob, you've brought this argument up yourself before. The biggest argument against that Echo is just a placeholder for an actual Daredevil series is exactly that. I mean, you call it something else. You don't say it's Echo. And that is probably the biggest argument against it. So I think you were onto something there.
Plus, in the comics too, she's a cool character.
Yeah, they just didn't make her
interacts
cool
with.
They just didn't make her cool in Hawkeye.
No. I thought it was great when she was young.
Yes, that was great.
It was great. And then, but as she got older, I don't think that and it wasn't the actress. I think she's great. I think the script didn't serve her as well as it could have.
I agree. All right, what's next?
Mumra the Ever Binging says, why do you think films don't do movie soundtracks much anymore? I loved all the albums from the 80s and 90s with exclusive songs that were mostly only available on those specific CDs. They were like the original format of mixtapes. Not really. A mix of style and art.
I believe they still do. Rob, I know you're big in that kind of stuff.
I mean, they don't do it as much. I mean, I think back to some of the great soundtracks like The Crow. had
Right.
two soundtracks. It had Graham Revel's score and then that music, like that had all kinds of bands, like The Cure has that song Burn. And there were a lot of soundtracks that did that. I think what they do now is more, you know what had a great, I love the soundtrack for Sucker Punch, but a lot of it was like they did a new version of White Rabbit. They're like doing cover versions of songs because I think there's not as many great bands creating brand new original music for movies.
Two of my favorite soundtracks, like not score, but soundtracks of all time are still the original Matrix. I mean, that's great.
And those scores are great. They're great albums.
And without no facetiousness here, I'm being dead serious. Mortal Kombat.
I can
The
see that.
Mortal Kombat soundtrack is so fun.
Was
No.
it the soundtrack or the score? Because I can see Mortal Kombat having an epic score.
No, I mean the soundtrack.
The soundtrack?
Du hast.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Juke Joint Jezebel.
Yeah,
Remember
I
that
mean,
track?
yeah, and
I mean,
there's
Any movie by Quentin Tarantino, like Pulp Fiction, has Jackie Brown has a great
those
soundtrack.
all have great soundtracks.
But those are
Natural
all-
Born Killers has an amazing.
Yeah.
Those are great scores, but those are previously existing songs.
Yeah.
Oh, I
You know
see
what I
you
mean?
Oh,
And-
you're
and-
talking about soundtracks that are
all
made
original-
Yeah, like
mostly
if
original
you
songs,
think
yeah.
about like Kenny Loggins doing Danger Zone or
Yes.
doing the Caddyshack theme song, these are people that were writing pieces of music. Ghostbusters,
Yeah,
written
Hugh
direct-
Lewis in the News for
Power of Love,
Power of Love
I mean-
for whatever that movie was.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. Thank you.
Do you guys remember the movie Faster with The Rock?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys
That was
notice?
a very good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. But if you noticed, it's the same score throughout the whole thing. Just that one song they made plays throughout the
didn't
whole
notice.
thing. Yeah.
Now I gotta go back and watch it.
Yeah,
again.
watch. It's the same score.
All right, what's next?
Victor says, John, I know Armageddon is one of your guilty pleasures.
It is.
I rewatched it and I have to agree. It's awesome. All logic problems aside, it's so much fun. Great music and epic presidential speech, and the ending with Bruce Willis makes me weep like a baby.
I don't care what anybody says. I like Armageddon, man. I like that movie. And I'll tell you what, I get a little choked up. Not tears, a little choked up. So they're all standing there. Liv Tyler shows up. Ben Affleck. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. The taxi's here. He's blowing his horn. I'd hate to wake you up to say goodbye. I'm leaving on a I mean, that's a great scene. That is a great scene. I
Dude,
love
anything
that
with
movie.
space in it, I'll watch.
Yeah.
Armageddon, give me that 1-2 punch of Armageddon and Deep Impact. I'm telling you.
All right.
Weren't you in the porn versions of those movies?
Were you
All right,
also-
Rambo says,
Listen, I've been in the
someone.
porn version of Deep Impact since I was 13, let me tell you.
Wait, Ray, what was his name?
Oh,
Dark Night Shift?
Big Starklighter.
Big
Dark
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 Lighter.
Night Shift is another one.
All right, Rambo. Someone said that the Moon Knight trailer looks like the next movie in the Universal Dark Universe. Now I can't unsee it. I'm excited for it, but I can't lie. It looks like The Mummy from 2017. LOL.
I'm not. No, that's. You could say it does kind of look like the next, but the next good movie in the Dark Universe.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it does kind of have that feel. By the way, just in case there are some of you who weren't around or haven't seen it, so Rob was bringing it up and he was looking for
No.
the image, but we'll bring it up here. This is Robert Meyer Burnett. This is Robert Meyer Burnett as Biggs Darklighter in the Star Wars porn parody.
Star Wars XXX, yeah.
Star Wars XXX. He is. What do they call it when it's a non-sex role? It's a
Fluffer.
I am not a fluffer. Is a
Oh,
I'm just
not
going
a
to call
fluffer.
a spade a spade. Robert Byron Burnett was the fluffer.
I was an X-wing pilot, man. That's what I was.
He was the X-wing pilot. You had a couple of scenes.
I got lines, man. I talked to Luke and Han.
And so you're saying, and it was the stormtroopers who were having the threesome with Chewbacca.
Yes.
But, so were these like stormtrooper chaps
They,
then?
they were stormtrooper. All the stormtroopers were women.
Right. But were they wearing like the leg parts of the armor? Were they like chaps?
Sort of.
Like just
Special
okay.
edition.
Aren't you intrigued now?
I've been intrigued since you said it. Like I think I'm
Let's
gonna
do
need
a
to
watch along.
Let's go watch along. We'll do live commentary.
Reaction.
Wow.
exactly. We'll do
Reaction
we'll do a spoiler review
On a
of it.
different website. It's going to have to be.
I'm just saying.
The
that
John
my-
Campea Show After Dark.
After Dark. That's
After
a
Dark.
different version of the After Dark. All right.
All right, Desire
Wow.
BG
One
says,
last one.
I just saw a clip of you on Kitchen Nightmares, I think. Were you
Oh, yeah,
coincidentally
you and Ann.
Yeah.
were you coincidentally at the place they were shooting, or did they call you as an extra? Also, did you get to meet Gordon Ramsay? Keep up the great work and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, this comes up every few months when the replay cycle happens with Kitchen Nightmares. Yes, Ann and I were on an episode of Kitchen Nightmares. We were in a couple of shots. They talked to us once quickly. So what the story of this is that I had a friend of mine who knows Gordon Ramsay, had worked with Gordon Ramsay. And when they found out they were shooting in Glendale, which was close to where we lived, he got us invited to be on it, to be for the restaurant reopening, like the good, not the before terribles thing, but the good one, right? And we got to meet Gordon, and that was a lot of fun. I got a chance to talk to him a couple times, and yeah, we were on the show eating lasagna, and you see me and Ann on it, and that was kind of fun.
Didn't you guys say the place is gone now, though?
I don't know, which I hope it's not, because the food, I don't know what it was like before Gordon Ramsay happened, but the food was awesome. And it was really
awesome,
good. But I
probably.
think I might have heard it has since closed. I mean, this was like 7 years ago.
Yeah, I think Ann mentioned that it was
that maybe it's been closed down.
it just went back to either crap or it closed down.
The
Yeah.
same thing happened when I was in the audience on the Comedy Central roast of Larry the Cable Guy. My lawyer at the time happened to represent him, and he was like, "Do you want to come along?" And then it turns out the guy who produced and directed all the shows was my old boss. I was his assistant, and I ran into him on my way to my seat. He was like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so the entire show, the camera's in my face, and I'm like. And so like friends from high school are like, I think I just saw you on the Larry the Cable Guy. And every time it would re-air, I'd be like, yeah, I was in the audience.
They're like every 4 or 5 months, I'll get a bunch of tweets
And by the
saying, "I
way,
just saw you in Kitchen
on
Nightmares."
those shows, if you think what they show on the Comedy Central roast is offensive, the stuff they don't show, oh my God, that show is brutal. So yeah.
All right, guys. There are still more questions to come. Don't worry, we'll get caught up on these. They're all still there. We've got them. We will get caught up. But for now, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you guys so much for being here and making the show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in these comments and questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the John Campea Show, thank you guys very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room. First of all, starting over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett. Find me on Twitter at BurnettRM or on my own YouTube channel, The Burnett Work.
And just one more time. Just one more time.
Here it comes
Sitting
up.
over there, Ray Ora. Ray, where can people find you?
Big Stark Lighter. OnlyFans, baby. Open it up, baby.
Do it.
Time to make some money. Ray Aura Zero.
And sitting right beside him is Aaron Cummings with Joey Bishop, who looks so sleepy.
Oh,
Where can people find you?
You can check us out on Instagram at Aaron L. Cummings, and make sure to watch The Rookie on February 27th.
And you guys can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, simply right there. I think I'm at like 99.4 thousand followers on Twitter now. Just 600 away from 100,000 when nothing happens. But just it would be nice to see. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for being here, guys. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.